5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for our second series of the night between TNC, Predator, and T1. It is MLP Dota and John Expired. John, before I ask you how you're doing, I'm going to give a shout out and a thank you to our sponsors, Monster, for keeping us energized, and of course, LoopBet, official betting partner of BTS Pro Series. John, how are you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling great. It's always good to be back in Southeast Asia. We did cast a series before, of course. That was a fun ride. It really reminds you of what Southeast Asian Dota is all about. And this should be a bit of an entertaining one as well. TNC up against T1. So the Korean sponsored stack, not quite the Korean stack, up against the Filipino favorites. Now, TNC has been on a bit of an up and down. Their performance has certainly been leaving some people wanting for more, of course, but so far not too shabby in the group stages so far. 3-2 in terms of series, 7-4 games won. T1 having played, ending up 2-4, 7-8-1. It's not actually too mismatched. I think they're just about a series apart from each other, and should be interesting to see who does hold out on top. Of course, I believe TNC will be the favorites no matter what, but T1 with this lineup is capable of some surprise games, so that's something you have to watch out for from the stack as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't underestimate these guys. There's a lot of great players. Of course, TNC definitely won't be underestimating them either, as we do go into the first pickups here in the draft. TNC will be the ones to start us off with their own first pick. And, well, if they wanted to go into that very popular Void Spirit, it is available. Instead, however, they do go for that extremely popular position.
Start locked into any sort of strat with just that pick. It gives you some pretty decent laning presence, really disruptive in team fights. Buy a lot of space for your cores. Counter push a wave as well in case T1 does go for a push heavy lineup. You have a way of mitigating that with this Keeper for Light. It isn't the best in terms of lockdown and control. Probably going to want something that can kind of cover for that weakness, but I think that's perfectly fine. Still a lot of value in that sort of. Although T1 does dip into the Mars that we have seen a lot coming out a lot more often, and that is certainly here that you can build around quite nicely. Of course, Venus, a great tool to have, just really tanky with his Bulwark, a lot of utility, and wave clear with his kit. So I do like that Mars opener. I think one of my favorite combinations with that is the Snavar. If T1 does want to go into that, it's going to be really potent in those team fights as well.
Certainly will be, and I'm going to say, John, I'm kind of waiting for the next patch for this darn hero to get nerfed. But, you know, another combination you can have with the Mars, of course, is the Phoenix. Plenty of magic damage to be thrown out, and of course, having the Arena of Blood up basically secures the egg. However, TNC had the Coddle, Bristleback was available, so why not just take it?
It's just that solid combination coming out here. A lot of quilt sprays to be spammed out in that lane if they do run these two together, which more than likely they will. This is just the standard combination you see. Gonna be interesting to see how much pressure you can apply in that safe laner. If you do miss out on the first few stacks of cold spray and you don't manage to apply that pressure, you can have a bit of a rough time playing recovery there. Otherwise, it should be a very potent duel. T1, as you mentioned, with the Phoenix pick, just a lot more durability coming out there. We have seen that combination with Mars so many times before, and a good egg placement outside of that arena can really turn those fights. So T1 gonna be playing around the cooldowns of that arena and the egg as the game goes on. You'd want to really maximize those spells, force out fights on TNC every single you have, and really start to bring it down onto TNC. Of course, that bristleback might make it a bit hard. I think in this case you will be looking for mitigate some of that durability that the hero does have, but Phoenix can kind of deal with that just fine with his man.
Sure. I guess the one nice thing about the bristleback as well, though, like up against that Phoenix, is you don't really care too much about the attack slow from those fire spirits, right? Because any other position 1, if it is being run as a pos 1, would kind of struggle to get any CS going because of that attack speed slow from the fire spirits. But bristleback has his cool spray, so you have multiple ways of really securing those CS.
Definitely. It's not going to be a major factor for that bristle if that is the laning match. We're going to be getting a lot more out of that lane than the Phoenix should be allowing, but
Radiant team
it's down to that matchup. To pick up the Pugna next, so they've got a really solid way of getting push out now for T1. They've got a way of mitigating the presence of that Keeper to Light and the Bristleback. Neither of these heroes enjoy casting into that Nether Ward. Of course, you have a nice way of keeping that Bristleback in his place, getting the disarm off so he doesn't run around with his Warpath, right-clicking down. You have ways of dealing with that now with the Pugna, although you have to be careful with your spacing. Not enjoy getting any of those cold spray stats onto himself. Not a very high HP hero. So T1's going to play a bit with her face.
TNC, they do take the Snapfire for themselves, which is interesting. Obviously still a very potent hero, and I guess it does work quite well with the Bristleback. Just, you know, being able to cook him forward and just getting a nice stun off, which really allows him time to get 2 more cool spray stats. Thing is, though, with TNC's run, if they're going to run that Snapfire as another support, the support duo kind of looks a little bit weak, does it not?
It's not the most synergistic duo. I think you do have a lot of potential with the Will-O-Wisp and the Kisses, although whether or not you can get that out every single time is a different question, as I like the response here from T1. Aces Void pickup does tie in nicely with what they're trying to do. They have excellent team fight. They are going to be tied into the cooldowns of all of their spells, but I think there is potency there if they can play around the timing of their Phoenix, their Mars, and the Faces Void. They're going to be just... Although there are going to be issues now, TNC immediately picking up that Beastmaster in response. A really good response to that Faces Void. It means it's just going to be harder for him to get a safe Chronosphere out. He's always going to be conscious about where that Beastmaster is, whether or not he's going to be roared up, because once you throw that Chrono out, Beastmaster is outside, Void will always be the first target, and get that stun off, well, it's a wasted ult, basically.
Sure, I can't disagree with you on that. That base smart is going to be a real problem here for the Void. If they can catch the Beastmaster out on these Chronos, though, because that's generally the idea. If you can get the Beastmaster in the Chrono, you won't really mind. That being said, though, like, even if the Primal Roar does kind of stun the Void and waste the Chrono, you still have the potential for the Phoenix Egg to drop after the Chrono anyway, and still get a decent stun duration off, right? So it's not all bad if the Primal Roar comes out. Like, as long as you've got that egg going on in the back, you've still got time to get some damage dished out after the stun duration of the Void's over.
Definitely. It still is a waste, though. Like, you know, you're still wasting that Chronosphere. I don't think you'll ever be happy if you drop that Chrono, and even if the egg's going on in the back, the arena's on top, you'd rather not. I think the Beastmaster is always going to be a priority target for that Void to catch and Chrono, which is going to be a bit tough to get done, because now you have this Phantom Lancer as well that you're going to have to try to catch out, because if you don't, he's going to have free reign to dip in and out. You don't have the best control from T1 right now. You have the Mars Spear, Phoenix Egg, and Chronosphere, really, that can Lancer in place. It's a highly slow hero, so that is going to be an issue for
5 seconds remaining.
clearing out the illusions. They have the Mars, they have Phoenix fine as well, and the Pugna can clear out some of those illusions to help you isolate the real one. It's just a control. It doesn't look like they have enough control to keep that Phantom in place. You have the Pugna to decrypt and disarm him. You can isolate him, but even then, I don't think he's going to be your primary target for that. You're going to be going for the Bristleback, as you mentioned, because he can right-click pretty hard as well.
See, one now. One final pick. They really need a way to try and deal with this PL. You've got wave clear, but it's not really the greatest wave clear in the world. You've really only got a Pugner there to try and deal with the PL in these matchups. They do still have one more core pickup for themselves, and I can only wonder what would really be effective here. All right.
Choose your hero,
I mean, it's not
my good
see the
friend.
Leshrac mid, but I suppose it is one decent answer to the PL, just being able to pulse over those illusions down. Also works well with the Void, so kind of all makes sense.
Yeah, it ties in nicely with T1's draft. They will really have to play around Miracle's Chronosphere. That's going to be the key timing. We talk about that every single time the Void's there. Chronosphere has to be expended every time it's up. If you don't manage to maximize that, you're losing out on your wave really getting bigger, on your wave really widening that gap. So they're going to need to apply that pressure as soon as Miracle hits 6, along with Jokam and Forev. If they don't, then TNC is going to have a lot of opportunities to play around however they want. The Leshrac core, as you mentioned, isn't the most common in the world. I think you can fit it in here. You can definitely make it work out well. You would want to be able to keep that Phantom Lancer down though, so you will have to play aggressive, because there's a weird timing here. Early on, the Leshrac can just burn through that PL. PL has that Diffusal Blade plus something to help him tank up. You can still burn him somewhat, but the moment he closes the gap with you and burns down your mana, Leshrac is not anything at all once he's out of that mana. You have a bit of a tight window. You have to keep Gabby down. You can't allow him to escalate fast, because if he does take over, well, the Leshrac, it's going to be harder for him to deal that damage out.
I agree. See how it all does pass. The first game between TNC Predator and T1 is just about to begin. And see the beautiful Armel Bristleback and even more beautiful Phoenix being played by Jokam. I get very jealous of people that have those nice Phoenix cosmetics, John. So I don't have.
Really?
You really
I
should prepare for battle.
swear one of them was just an immortal that get from the chest. Don't tell me you didn't spend on the immortal. Oh.
No, I didn't actually. I really didn't. Ashamed to admit it.
Let me self.
True. We'll see how Jokam can perform. Of course, this hero has been so powerful in this meta. It's just good in every single stage of the game, right? Like, early game, you destroy the lane. Mid-game, Egg destroys, Sunray destroys, Fire Spirits just do so much damage. Later on in the game, especially once you pass that level 15 mark, you've got those great 15 talents, but more importantly, the plus 35 Fire Spirit DPS. And in conjunction with the Sunray, you can really run this Bristleback quite fast.
It's going to be a massive issue for TNC if they don't get that in check. Get a good start for themselves. They need to ensure that Armel, at the very least, farms up one of his tanking items. I think in this case, he'll be looking at a fast hood into a pipe, hopefully to mitigate that magic damage coming out from T1. They have the Lesh, they have the Pugna, they have the Phoenix. That's going to be the main thing he has to block out. Anyway, I think if he gets a timing that, let's say at 10 to 12 minutes for a pipe, maybe 13 to 14 minutes, he's going to be in a position where he can tank through, but not going to be the easiest time to find that farm.
30 seconds to battle. Hello?
KP, gonna take a very early outpost. Pretty standard stuff. You're trying to already get a little bit of control up at this top jungle spot. She plays Forev on the Mars up the top lane, understanding that KP's probably going to be there on the Beastmaster, and you can't really blame him for that, right? Because the Void would definitely not enjoy going against the double balls of KP.
Definitely not. It's not a fun lane for any core to play against. This is preferably for T1, just talking remorse up there. It's not like he's gonna do anything in particular against Gabby. You can still apply some decent pressure with Paulson up against that Phantom Lancer anyway. So I can see this working out fine for T1. We'll have to watch out for, I suppose, down the line for March trying to push out that wave. He hasn't committed to what he wants at level 1 just yet. Could still go for that Illuminate level 1 if he wants the damage. Does go with the Chakra instead. Gonna be a bit playing out Gabby's initial man.
Of course, you have that level 1 Nether Ward from Paulson just to be really frustrating towards March and Gabby, and it only makes sense having the Nether Ward level because that, you know, you level up Chakra Magic, it indicates you plan to really spam your abilities. Paulson can just get extra value every time they try to do that though. They'll also keep Miracle quite safe on the Void. Standing there is going to be a little bit afraid to throw the lance out. Shouldn't have bad of a time down the bot, but we'll have a quick look at mid. In your game, I would like he's going to have a much rougher time. Up against the Bristleback, he can't really get close for the Edict. He's always going to stand back in case that. At least he does have the magic stick up already, but this is going to be pretty rough up against Arnold.
It's not a very good lane for the Leshrac, of course. You do have to be very conscious about your man pool here. Once RML is down, not going to have as much harassment to pump out onto IYD. So that is something in your dream can just wait for the mana to tick out, and I think just happy enough to try to shove out and get some last hits that way.
The only problem is that you're going to have a Soul Ring coming out on RML fairly quickly. Like, I can't imagine he's going to run out that much. I don't know if that opening's really going to be there for in your dream. Like, if he doesn't really slow down this Soul Ring timing, which, as it stands right now, RML is at the top of the last hits for it, so I can't imagine he will. He does have a Mango available just in case he does run out of mana early. Cool. We'll have a quick look at top. Tim's going to be there on the Sapphire for Rev. He's there on the Mars, of course, and he'll be up against KP, who have support of his Phoenix Jocam in the laning stage. Jocam unfortunately missing all his Fire Spirit. Tim's, who's not very nice. Does get the last one. Icarus dive Jocam, that was very dangerous of him. Scatter Blast doesn't go out. Tibbs has Cookie and KP will be there to follow up. Jocam, I don't know why you go 5. It was only level 1 anyway. It's 10 damage a second.
Yeah, that's an interesting move to make, rather questionable honestly, and it does give him a bit of a regret at the very least, so he goes back in lane, fully filled up, ready to try to pump some harass out, and is taking attention away from Forev, who's basically had a free lane up top. He's far away from KP at 22-6 compared to KP's 15-2, so he's had a great time on his mark.
Gonna try and apply even more pressure in bot lane. He does start falling quite low to Miracle. You know, I've got to say, John, Gabby's not having a good time at all. Miracle has the lane completely to himself right now. To be fair, the Pugner, Paulson, he's left the lane. He's making his way back now with an Invis rune. Gabby will get a salve, I believe, off March. Try and keep himself up. The harassment really has been dished out quite heavily from this Void and Pugner.
Definitely. That's one of the things, again, with the PL plus pretty much any support, although Kotl in particular is just not a great match. You can't really match up with that aggression, and Kotl isn't really a defensive hero. He has Blinding Light, but Pulse can just go in and Nether Blast.
Gosh, it's going to be so frustrating for Gabby. He gets another one. Miracle hoping for luck here. Gabby playing with fire by turning around. It'll be alright. But you can see this Void constantly looking out for that attempt. And he gets another. Gabby, forced a doppelganger now, not feeling safe at all. The Void can be a little bit ridiculous if you are a very, very... They may go for it a time, but no, it's a bit too early. But farming on the Void, like, you couldn't ask for more if you are T1.
Definitely not. It's been a good time here for T1. I think the pressure being applied onto Gabby is exactly what you want. You don't want to give him any room to start farming up, to get the space he needs to get a good... And once that diffusel's up, you're basically looking at your Leshrac completely out of the picture for the most part. He's not going to be able to sustain his mana to get that damage out, and you're really depending on that Lesh to help you isolate and pick out who the real Phantom Lancer is in that mid-game with his magic damage.
Now in your dream, spotted out is that there's a bit of stacking going on here in the Radiant side. Come clear that out. Well, bot lane, that Gabby fell very, very low, and he actually TP'd all the way back to the fountain. Seems pretty huge losses. He's gonna have to walk his way back to another lane, and looks like he may be switching up top now. Just not being able to sustain at all. Gonna have a much better time up against Forever and Jocam either.
It's not an
Dream though. Lane in trouble. Illuminate does fly through, although Armel falling low, but not low enough. The T1 should clear him up, and there was an Icarus snipe just in case. Now the Sunray with Cam, and they're going to try and find a secondary in the form of towers on that snapfire, though Tims may get a courier for himself if they're not careful with that. Paulison has another blast, but won't commit. And, you know, Tim's mount is running in a very strange way, John. That's not generally how it should work. Tim's still trying to run. Paulison has the brown boots.
Like nobody's business.
Tim does at least force the split goal between the two.
Are fortified.
As Paulison would have enjoyed it.
definitely not a waste of time still. They do manage to at least the in that sense. Overall, I think T1's still going to be happy. They did clear RML. Fairly they managed to still get that kill. They got the additional kill on the support, so gonna be a bit happy. Once more, you take a look at TNC. They have switched Gabby up top, as mentioned earlier. They still are keeping KP around, so really just trying to give Gabby that good lane he needs. And this is investment, but the PL does take should keep up.
Well, in all fairness, KP does have the primal orb. He may have to commit, but he won't have time. The stun was there. God's Rebuke, more than enough to burst through the Beastmaster's HP.
Don't worry, Mom.
Beastmaster, Forev should easily put his PL here. Just needs to have that God's Rebuke back. Gabby trying to fight. Spear comes out. It's a lot of damage on Gabby. Forev doesn't soul ring yet, so can't do too much. And it's gonna rotate. Within of his rune, but won't make the jump. And well, they're actually going to continue this tri-lane. With the Forev should be okay to take down, and it looks like they will have the damage output. And perhaps can force to tell.
That should give them free lane once they take that objective out. Again, the key here is to give Gabby a lane where he can just farm safely. And there's just nothing in the bot lane. It's a dead lane for him. He can't contest. He can't hold his own against the Void. I have to say, though, T1 has been holding on to that Chronosphere miracle for so he's up top.
I mean, he took the T1 bot tower, in all fairness, so he just felt like he could do that. Although Miracle now moving forward, he sees Gabby. He also caught Tim. Huge chrono very early on, and they'll find two massive pickups on the side of T1. In fact, In Your Dream's not done. The time dilation slowing down KB. In Your Dream taking a lot of T1 tower damage. Can he connect with the Split Earth? No, that's what I think. Although, what the spear coming up for Rev. He got the arena down as he misses the God's Rebuke. It will not matter. He does pick up the kill, but now look, rotations for Rev is in a lot of trouble. He needs to get out. But while they're there, they will jungle stacks were available. While you still do take down the Mars, you clear out their jungle, you take their stacks. Very, very happy with this.
Definitely. That was one of the best first and Miracle delivered. Two big heroes caught out there to get the kill on the one hero that you really don't want to lose at this point in the game. And that is spectacular for T1. They managed to get the egg up in Jokam as well, so they've got another tool in case they want to keep going, although they would probably wait for the Chronosphere before they do that. But the tools are starting to come together for T1. And TNC has to be really careful about pumping up. They can't commit the big 5v5 fight. They can play the pickoff game with KP, try to isolate heroes, try to get solo pickoffs. I think Miracle can be a prime target. He's always at bot lane. They've got decent warding around that area. They should be able to punish that Faceless Void, but they're just not looking to do that just yet.
Has fallen.
Looks like March is trying to force in that T1 mid tower with Illuminate, but too effective as you do have a partner on the other side. Let's get a nice, get speeded up by Perev. Rebuke is well going to come out. You do have the arena, but he doesn't want to commit it onto Armel. Armel, the one saving grace right now for TNC. Really farming up very nicely at 4 point. Although Primal Roar in your dream being caught out in his own jump, and he will go down. Some great setup from KP.
Subjected to extreme violent structures.
A good pickoff.
In fact,
Definitely one of the bigger heroes you could clean up there. T1, TNC gonna be happy with that. That's exactly how they should be playing. Found a Beastmaster. Those easy pickoffs they can get with that long stun and taking the objective afterwards. This is what their lineup can excel at, and it's what they should play around, especially while T1's not ready to expand their Chrono and Arena, and you should weakness, although I believe they might be going to counterfight now.
Has that ever been?
Miracle has Chrono, he's thinking about it, he does commit it. It takes Invisible away though. Will-O-Wisp has been dropped, a March with the blind, now Egg to be dropped, but it doesn't really do anything. Back forever could be in trouble. Looks to turn around. They will not. But that is two huge ultimates wasted from T1, and you know, John, KP's Primal Roar is going to be back up in about 20 seconds. That is a bit concerning for T1.
They've got a lot of a wider window for TNC to get their spells out. T1 has to really commit hard if they're going to go for something, and it felt that was just a bit too hesitant. Miracle took way too long to get to the top lane with his TP, just played a bit too greedy, farming out that bot lane. If they were going to defend that tier 1, they should have done so earlier. They plumped up like a minute earlier than that. They could have tried to set up position was better. Instead, they had to throw out the Chronosphere onto Armel. Not the ideal target. Bristleback is tanky now. He does have his Vanguard up to mitigate the physical damage coming out. They're going to need a lot more magical damage to really put a dent in it. And IYD is just not quite set up to pump that damage safely yet. So there is a moment here where Armel should be able to just really stand his ground, not worrying about the output on T1 just yet. And that is definitely not the target you expend two big ults on. I think you'd really want to pick out definitely Gabby. Perhaps KP, although I think the supports would be a bigger target here. Hims in particular can be annoying along with March. Just take out the potential for the Will-O-Wisp to turn stuff around, take the potential out for the Mortimer's Kisses, and T1's going to be happy to clean up afterwards.
Now the ball tier 2 is being forced in Miracle. They do back off.
Strange to say, Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is being attacked like nobody's business.
They really want to try and force down that T1 mid, it seems. Of course, that does open up the map for T1. Considering you have a Pugna Leshrac, you really want to try and get that. Never try to force it down. And big team fight coming out as Amel will show himself on the bristle. KP will TP in. And although they get a low, they just can't finish the job off.
I don't think that's too big of a worry. They've got the...
middle tower has been
they are forced to deny it anyway, because it is low around that can threaten it, so just take the gold away. That does mean you lose out on the control, but eventually smoke up.
However, here. That's been caught out top lane. Dream does land a splitter. That's maybe not even an ultimate committed. That is that concern if you are TNC. Is Gabby's already had it hard enough coming up and losing his life like that before he gets his before. Kind of good though. Bot lane. Will they there? It is miracle. So, Pos wants to get traded. It did cost you a primal roar, but I believe that would be very, very well worth it.
Definitely. While that was happening as well, there was a bit of a chase. You did see March getting jumped on by Forev and Paulson. Not quite enough damage for some reason. They missed out on the spear, so March could just walk away from the arena. That was the arena drop as well. So a bit of a cooldown that T1 would have to wait for if they want to play around that. Still, that should allow TNC to get some chip damage off bot tier 1, but not for too long. Their push potential is great with KP, but they still have to worry about the Chrono and the Egg that are still available for T1.
It would appear Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Outpost trying to be taken back by TNC, but T1 do show themselves and do force them back a little bit. You're always afraid as Miracle does have the Chrono available right now. Definitely wants to get it off cooldown if he can. Still T1, although they have lost a couple small engagements, are sitting in the lead at about 2k net worth. They've been in the lead pretty much the whole time as well. They really haven't let that go at all. I guess with this draft, they can really just continue to force down towers. Like, there's not too much to be afraid of if, from TNC, you put all your ultimates back up. They aren't taking their time.
They definitely are, and this is giving Gabby room to play some catch-up form. Does his defusal up and running, so if he can close the gap with the Leshrac, he can space down his mana and take away a lot of the magic damage tier was relying on. But I don't think the defusal is going to be enough itself. Perhaps by the time he picks up his Hood of Defiance, he's going to be in a better spot to start applying the pressure onto Flash. Still, still taking your time. They are slowly just blasting away on the bot tower. At the very least, they have IYD around with the Eyeball Edict.
Chrono gonna catch two of them. KB, he walked into it just at the end as his primal roaring stickle. The primal will be enough to killing off Sims and now looks to turn it, but there's a Sun Ray but somehow the Beastmaster actually gets out of it. He's kind of squeezed his way through lines and with Paulson like he goes wait and loses his now Mel they will get in your dream. May have to settle for forever, or will they? He just he's down in front of them. They just don't have a way to cancel.
Yeah, that is definitely an issue of this draft. Again, they don't have the best stuns. They have Cookie, they have Roar. That's for the interrupt. So by the time you extend both of those, or if you lose your Snapfire, you have no way to stop that engagement. Now you see issues there from T1, right? Like TNC managed to get the Roar off, but suddenly that Chronosphere is not as clean as they are forced to grab basically just one kill from that Chrono. You did see Gabby fall in the end, but that was because he was playing aggressively behind, trying to clean up. Again, that defusal doesn't give him quite enough to stand in the middle of all that damage coming out. It's good damage for himself, but doesn't make him any tankier. Still, TNC gonna try to take this time to clear out that Roche.
They are. The Keeper of the Light, though, going to get melted. March, he was trying to take the outpost, and now they'll know the Roshan's coming on. Forev gets another nice arena, but they've only got Armel in there, and that's not the target you really want to go after. Spray will melt him a little bit, but enough to force Armel back. He'll just heal through it. Now they look to re-engage as Primal Roar will be there on the Pugna. Paulson will just to that outpost. They want to have one before that 20-minute mark. It looks like they will be able to secure it. The question is, can they actually...
egg is up and running from T1. They're not going to have a chrono, and doesn't look like T1 to contest.
Oh, for it. Nice blink away. Oh, actually gets the haste rune as well. Very nice. Comes back in after Tim's now, just trying to really distract them as Will-O-Wisp in the backlines have caught in your dream, but the egg is going down still. They have a little shredder, and that'll be enough for Armel to finish the egg off. And with that, you can certainly go back for that Roshan. He's already there, throwing the Hawk out to get vision. And that Roshan is certainly going the way of TNC.
Yeah, that from T1 to try to block out TNC. I mean, it looked like it was working. They did distract them out, but they lost their 2 heroes. They had to drop the egg as well. So that just means the Aegis goes uncontested. Surprised Miracle didn't try to make anything happen with his chrono.
Didn't have it at the time though. So now he does have it. KP does end up going down a March. Getting very low, does also die. He still holds onto the chrono. He doesn't need it yet. Gabby falling, and now the chrono comes out. He went for another one to run in. They'll get the Aegis, but how do you deal with Armel? Well, it comes back. Split Earth will be there on the PL. They're just looking to melt Gabby down on Gabby. Doppelganger will be there. In Your Dream is on his tail. They decrepify, they amp up the damage, and there's only one left. It'll be the Bristleback Armel, and you know what, John? When he's alone, he's a lot easier to deal with, and that's exactly what they do.
Just a complete team wipe going the way of T1. It looked a bit rough initially. You know, the patient Miracle there when he already had his chrono out and just opting to TP later instead of before Rush fell. A bit rough, but in the end they managed to make TNC. We're feeling confident in trying to take that fight. They just got caught out. That was a really good chronosphere coming out from Miracle, isolating 1 life of Gabby, and that was really enough. They managed to split the team, kind of pick offs in while that was happening, and managed to give themselves a pretty good time. They didn't have to worry about too much on the second line.
Easily caught out. Forever is just all over the place.
One fully march out. Just the arena for a low HP.
Why not? I mean, it's a low cooldown as well, right? 75 seconds.
It's not that long. It is a bit of overkill. I believe March was already pretty darn low there. It's just Forev shoving it into March, letting him know still around.
Well, now the pipe finally comes out onto KP, but TNC has just fallen so far behind. In fact, it's a 6k net worth lead for Team 1. No real slowing down as... I mean, you look at Gabby's farm on the PL. He's been forced to go into a Hood of Defiance. Try and sustain all the magic damage that's coming out, but...
He really needs
do anything yet.
I think it'll help, because just the defusal alone wouldn't have done enough. Again, he really wanted to eat through that backline, go to the Pugna, go to the Leshrac. He can't sustain himself, even if he has that damage. He can't burn them fast enough to tank through that damage. This Hood should allow him that leeway, gives him a lot more to work with in the backlines, and I think that might give TNC a way of dealing with all that damage coming out.
Awesome. Just gonna TP out with Decrepify. Why not? They use the cookie. The KP forever. He has Arena up. He won't commit quite yet. Pretty much all alone, but you know, it really goes to show how confident the Mars is. He's in the mid lane. He has no idea how many Radiant heroes are there, and he just doesn't care.
Forev is having a grand old time. He's really just hard to deal with. You'd expect to be able to say that on Armel, and he is a tank. He's got his Spirit of Defiance and Vanguard, but it feels like it takes way too long for the Bristlebat to get that damage out. Whereas Mars, with his kit, just has so much more control, so much more burst potential with a God's Rebuke as well, that it's a lot more obnoxious, and you can certainly push it to a further limit than you could the Bristleback.
Miracle now as well has the full Mjolnir. Does have, well, he already had his BKB, but he's just looking bigger and bigger every time we look at him. It's like he is going after the Satanic next, and TNC, I wonder how much longer they have to try and farm up here. I mean, Armel, he's got a Lotus Orb now. That helps a little bit. shit, it's like the file of the Pugna. Now Forev just holds his shield up and they are looping from behind as well. It's all a fade here. Miracle, he jumps on the high ground, spots out Armel. Armel's not really afraid, but now Queen has been dropped, so he's trapped in there. Do they have the damage? Primal will come out onto the void, but now he can just chrono. Miracle's still not throwing it out. He's just holding on, and now the chrono comes out, though the spear knocks out Armel from the chrono spear. So Miracle, he goes after the keeper of the line. March, falling low, does go down. A bit of a mishap there with the spear, but I guess you find something out of the chrono in your dream. Doesn't manage to find KP. T1 still will maintain the advantage in this game.
Yeah, I mean, they still found a kill. They were forced to use their ults, and it doesn't quite pay off. That was a pretty good bait from Forev, baiting his team into dropping all the ults to get the spear out. To drag Armel out of that, saving Armel. Truly the MVP in that match to push that Bristle back out. Big blow for TNC. They did lose out under Bristle still. Gonna be fairly happy with those results, although they're gonna try again.
I mean, Armel is so far forward, all by himself. There's no towers for his team to TP to. If it's speared up, he's dead. I mean, I understand it. You're a Bristleback, you're tanky, but not against 5 heroes, you're not.
I don't mean to be.
This is the opening for T1 to push onto the high ground. Gonna be very straightforward push. You've got the double damage on Miracle as well. So he's just gonna lay it on. Too bad the creep wave is a bit too far behind.
They're coming.
Tower is under attack.
Blinding Lion a bit early on as well. It's not like he was.
Not only fortified, they are positively
They fortified.
There's nothing there, guys.
There was nothing there. That huge loss. Now the Rax is over. I'm not.
Dire's bottom tower.
But there was literally 0 creeps. 0 damage.
Sorry,
I guess maybe they just saw they didn't realize he was doing anything yet. And now the spear Forev. He's gonna find the Beastmaster KP and they burst it down. And that's it. That's 1 Rax gone. The best they can do is split push with Gabby down to the bot lane, but they've got to be careful not to lose any more.
Barracks has fallen.
Luckily for TNC, Miracle, he did not have his chrono available, so they couldn't die for anything further than that, but huge misplay coming out with that fortification. Look at T1, they're waiting. Can't sustain this damage. Breamy gets a stun off. Look at him just melt. He doesn't survive a second. It's Forev now going after Tims. The Will-O-Wisp will hold the rest of them back a little bit, but Tims is just chasing him slowly but surely. Blinding Light will help a little bit, but I do mean a little bit. As Spear back Forev trying to go. He really doesn't like the keeper of the line. Doesn't matter.
Tower is under attack.
You're gonna go
All of that was without Miracle around as well. So they've got Cronus, they've got Arena ready again, they've got the egg ready. All the tools are there. Should be a straightforward push here. One.
I don't know how you fight into this now. Like, with a chrono available, it just seems like there's no chance. You've got Primal Roar, but you're holding on to that for the Void when he does chrono up.
Barracks has fallen. And yet, all is not lost.
With that T1, they're still being very, very careful about this. They're not pushing too far forward. For that rare kit. T1, excuse me, do move back, surprisingly enough. I guess they just weren't 100% confident. Like, there's no real reason to risk anything too fast. You've got a 16 net worth lead, you don't want to give any of that away. In fact, they may find their opening now anyways. The smoke is going to be there from TNC, but Tim's revealed he does go for that mid point. Forever again put it up, under them forward. They're looping all the way around the Roshan pit. Do they find it? It's a long walk, TNC.
Are under attack.
Nice to find Joe Camp to start this team fight off.
They're losing their melee
Yeah, they've lost their rack.
Radiant's middle barracks.
Now shows himself. Miracle just looking for the chrono. There's the Emerald. BKB'd up. And now Ultimate will just heal him up as the chrono does connect on 3 of them. Miracle found everybody. And with the Sun Ray, the Beastmaster Melt KP is gone. He'll buy back. They do at least find Paulison, and Brev is also falling low. But you've lost Armel and Bristleback. Does he buy back into this? Well, Gabby's about to drop. I think he may need to. Or perhaps this game might just be over as he's melting in Dream. He goes down. This is really, really bad. I think TNC may just be done with this though. No, they'll buy back on R. Try to defend that final lane of barracks, but Miracle, he doesn't even want it. He wants a tier 4 towers. In Your Dream, meanwhile, just wants to kill Marshall. He'll TP right in front of the fountain, and he does get out.
Oh, man.
And that is going to be one of the most demoralizing things I've ever seen.
Can I just say that is classic Indonesian Dota. Diving fountain and managing to TP out. That actually paid off there. It did work. Baited him into those buybacks. I mean, Armel stopped the push, but that's all they're gonna find. And T1, they did drop a couple of heroes there. They're gonna be very happy with how it turned out. Of course, they did force the buyback on Armel. That is gonna give them a bit of an opening. The Roshan's back up. They don't have the Chrono or the Egg anytime soon, but they do have the position to apply onto that Roche and just take it for themselves. No contestation coming out from TNC anytime soon. So that's going to be the Aegis and Cheese going the way of T1. And that just means you're going to have an even harder time keeping a lid on the aggression that the Dark side has.
Certainly looks pretty bad. Gonna be taken. Now the immediate smoke up, Armel will break it. Miracle does not have Chrono, but they don't care. They have Arena, it'll be good enough. Armel trying to slow them down. A Primal Roar will come out immediately. Now the Will-O-Wisp also being dropped. The Egg is there. Can they protect? They cannot. Joe Cap. This could be the team fight TNC needed as the Will-O-Wisp is still holding everyone in, but they can't actually get the damage out, and now they're on the cliff. Why are they on the cliff?
They got pushed.
Armel is just a sitting duck as Tins trying to run away, but the pole smoke in Your Dream will burn him down, and everyone is just dying. They call the GG.
Holy shit!
Oh, man.
Triple kill.
Rev, was that speed pushing him up, or was that the God's Rebuke?
One of those two shoved them all on Scott's Rebuke, because that was the spear they should have connected and got stunned up. So they just that cliff at the end. It looked like a great Will-O-Wisp to prevent T1 from getting that fight, but their cores were isolated out from TNC's side. It just kind of fell, and that was a good showing at the end, but T1 does
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for game number 2 between TNC Predator and T1. It is, of course, a best of 3 series, and it is MLP Dota and John X. John, game 1 T1 looked very, very good. I'd say pretty dominantly taking it. TNC just couldn't really get online on their own cause. Game 2, I'd like to ask you, where do you think TNC needs to... What do they need to do differently to a Game 3?
Well, they've got to be ready for the aggression that will come out from T1. I think their playstyle definitely goes around that typical Southeast Asian playstyle where they're just going to rush at you very early on. I think you've got to be ready for that kind of lineup here. There are certain ways to exploit that. I don't think the Phantom Lancer was the pick to go for TNC. Like, just takes way too long to come online. It didn't really get too much with its laning partner. The Kotal just couldn't do anything up against that dual lane that was facing up against bots. So a bit of a shift out in draft there, a bit of a shift out in playstyle should give TNC much better footing here in game number 2, of course. They do fall back to the Keeper of the Light, so you still have that option, I guess, with spamming spells. If you did go with that kind of duo, we could see the Bristleback come out here again for TNC. It is something Armel is very comfy with, but it didn't really find too much success last time around, so we'll see whether or not TNC is confident enough to go back into that draft, whereas T1, they do open up with a Centaur straight up. So the Mars was taken out, they go for the next best thing. The Centaur is there. It has been a fairly popular hero. It is pretty dominant in lane. It's very hard to really harass out, and there are a lot of combinations for it, one of which actually being the Rubik. That's one of my favorite combinations for the Centaur. You've got solid setup for the stun, really long stun that does come out from that, and a lot of damage. That a really potent dual lane already for T1.
Certainly is, and TNC, they go back to the Bristle. I was gonna comment on this draft because we saw it last game. I feel like personally, when I look at that, I think the issue was the PL. You talked about how it does take a very long time to get online, especially if it does end up in a bad lane matchup.
10 seconds
TNC,
remaining.
I just doubt they'll go down the same route with the PL because it's just
5 seconds remaining.
it's kind of counterintuitive to the Kotal Bristleback, right? Because with this lineup, with this duo, you want to just run down lanes and cause all kinds of havoc, but they just weren't able to because they needed to 5-man so often.
There just wasn't any breeding room for that PL to really shine. I don't particularly mind the Bristleback coming back in here. I don't think it was the best showing either. It really depends on how tier 1 drafts around at. I think the Pugna again is just a great choice for that Bristleback. You're starting to see the same effect come in here for T1. The Bristleback will have to close that gap to really lay the damage onto the Pugna. And even then, that's not a guarantee. If you're going to be that close to the Pugna, you're going to be close to the Centaur as well. You're going to be potentially close to whatever tier 1 is going to pick for their mid and safe.
Remaining.
There are a lot of issues there. It does take a fair bit of investment on that Bristleback as well to get him up. I would like to see TNC go with course don't require as much farm. You have the Bristleback who already needs a good amount of farm in that early game. You don't want to get any other hero that's just going to slow your pace down here.
Love the Pugna.
Dire
TNC Predator now. Well, going for an Earthshaker. I mean, I can't say I dislike it. Of course, Tim's, he's a really, quite an efficient Earthshaker player. As we've seen him make so many plays with this hero, and it always excites me to bring it back. However, you've picked the Earthshaker into a Rubik. If there's one hero Earthshaker doesn't want to play against, John, it's a Rubik.
I think it's actually a bigger issue to have that pug. That Nether Ward has caused a lot of missed blinks, follow-ups from the slam combination. If you open up with a different spell first to get them stunned up, you try to blink in, it's cancelled, you end up slamming the ground. That has happened multiple times, and the Pugna is just going to make that combination much harder to pull off. And it allows T1 to easily go into the Morphling. You don't need to buy up the Ags. Just find a Shaker on the map, morph into him, and you don't need that item investment with a Shaker taking up a slot in your team.
I like it. I like it from T1. I gotta admit, John, I don't like what I'm seeing from TNC Predator. I don't know about this Earthshaker. I really think you've just given so much to T1 with this pickup. I suppose when we still have to wait it out and see how the rest of the draft shows. I'm sure they've got a game plan here. And again, it is Tim's playing this Earthshaker. He really does perform quite well. TNC, they're going into the core Nature's Prophet. Does seem quite nice going into this. Could also be a support, but it's highly doubtful. The core Nature's Prophet just seems so darn good in this. I believe it should be a safe lane Prophet, but I suppose it doesn't really matter too much, right? You could always just throw it in the off lane as well for KP.
Yeah, it does give TNC at least the ability to be around the map. I mean, we have that Nature's Prophet a lot. Being really effective in that early game if you're willing to leave your lane and help out. Whereas, how it slots in here is going to be interesting. I think they're just going to go with the same arrangement, perhaps a safe lane brittle KP on the Nature's Prophet, as you mentioned. That should be how it goes, and something else in mid. I have to say the Nature's Prophet doesn't really solve most of my issues with what you have here from TNC. They might have a specific plan in mind. They might be able to run down the lanes at very least if they get a good start. They start pushing with that Nature's Prophet early on. That's still into a Pugna who can clear out those treants quite fast, so the D push is there from T1 anyway.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. Gonna be an interesting game and performance we're looking to see here from TNC in this last matchup, and I kind of wonder how they close off this draft because they are still lacking their own mid-core. I was going to bring up the TA pick that they could have gone for, which would have seemingly rounded off the draft quite nicely, but we do see T1 get rid of it, so RL won't have that option.
5 seconds remaining.
There they go. Is there anything in particular you'd like to see out of TNC?
No, not really. I mean, they banned out the Anchor themselves. I think that would have been decent. Maybe something with good burst. Maybe a Lina give you something. But then again, you're picking all these high cost spell usage heroes up against a Pugna. That's always going to be a major off right now. I'd say down mid, maybe something more stable. Perhaps something like a Dragon Knight could slip out for TNC just to give them a solid frontliner on top of that with a Bristle. You really need something to come online fast. Bristleback can be online fast, but we tend to see them pick up a Pipe first, pick up a Vanguard, and a Defiance first if that's your options. TNC does go with a Slark, so it looks like we are going to be looking at a Bristleback Gabby on the Slark. That's how it's going to work, and it does enjoy heroes like Centaur. It does enjoy morphing, strength morphing. There's a lot of agi stacks to sap away there. It's going to be relatively easy for the Pugna to prep his own allies under attack, though. In this case, you're not going to be decrepifying that Slark unless you know he's expended Dark Pact, but you can save your allies in that way. So one still has a way of dealing with it somewhat.
Yeah, I mean, they do have definitely a way of dealing with in the Pugna. T1, final pick for them. They are still lacking a mid of their own unless they plan to run the Morphling mid. Highly doubtful. Kind of begs the question here, like, do you run Armel mid on the Bristleback again? Or do you just put the Slark mid? I guess it's still very flexible in that sense.
I think you're much happier with a Bristleback mid. I don't think you want to leave your Slark in 1v1 lane that may or may not go his way. Much better off just having Bristleback. He can dominate that lane no matter what matchup. At least if not dominate Raw even. There are matchups where the Slark just can't keep up solo, so you would want to just invest the resource. Give that Slark a good lane, and that's going to be key here for TNC.
Go ahead.
E1 does
Select your
close out
hero.
with the Queen of Pain. There you go, IYD's hero. He's pretty fantastic in that hero. If I recall right, that's one of his signatures. I've seen him again. So you've got a lot of value there. You can eat through the Slark, even if he goes into his Shadow Dance, as long as you know where he is. Pump out all your spells, you're going to burst down. Fine. I love that response for T1. I think their draft is pretty darn solid. They've got a lot of great responses to what TNC has in mind. Pugna to cancel out any combination Tim's has to try out. He has to be careful about how he utilizes his combo. You have Jokam to steal spells as well. It's going to be interesting to see whether this core shift out from TNC is going to be enough. Like the Slark instead of the PL, a bit of a shake-up in their other two heroes as well, but keeping that core Bristleback, Keeper of the Light combination intact, that's going to be enough for TNC. We'll find out.
We are going to have to find out, though. TNC, they do have a lot of pressure. They do want to try and force this to a game number 3 if they can. P1 with it looking pretty good, looking very scary, and it's really going to be a reversal of roles here as to whether In Your Dream can really get the pace going with his own Queen of Pain and buy Miracle a bit more space on the Morphling this time around. Not to say that Gabby won't still need the space. He definitely won the Slark, but you could definitely make the argument the Slark does come online a lot faster than a PL would, as we saw last game. Going to be an interesting one, T1 and TNC. But, you know, any game that Tim's Earthshaker is here, regardless of what it's playing, you always get excited. It's a Tim's Earthshaker.
Yeah, it's always great to watch. I mean, Tim's fantastic on that hero. He has a lot on his back, though. There is a lot that he has to get done for his team here. But pressure from the laning phase, if they shut down Miracle, ensure that the Morphling can't get good farm. You have seen what happens when Morphlings fall behind. They just too well when they get shut out completely. They can go back to that jungle just fine, but it's a massive window where TNC can just kind of exploit.
It looks like TNC are actually still remaining the favorites in terms of betting odds going into this second matchup. So, although T1 does have lower odds than last game, so definitely has been adjusted a little bit, but TNC is still the favorites for this secondary match. T1 to prove those odds wrong if they can. Certainly did in game 1, that's for sure. I just wonder how much space Miracle's going to be able to find on this Morphling time around as well. Last time on the Void, he just dominated the lane. It wasn't even close. This time on a Morphling, it argues probably a little bit harder than Void, who has Time Warp. But time will tell.
I like that they're already kind of switched that out. Miracle's better off up against another safe laner, as we saw last time as well. He played a Void against the... This time he's more up against the Slark. Still not the cleanest lane if Gabby is going to be tricked, although it looks like TNC knows what's up. They're switching Gabby out as well.
They definitely don't want to have that bad matchup again. Definitely not this time. I mean, we saw it last game, they didn't switch and they suffered. It's not like there was a good option anyway. And, well, actually, mid lane Armel, we're going to go for a very early creep pool here. In Your Dream, gonna find her out Shadow Poison. It looks like he will have Jokam pulling the creep wave away from the T1 tower. Are you really going to stack these creeps up like this? He is. He's going to go for the double stack now. You're taking a lot of damage from In Your Dream.
Thought you had that, didn't
In
you?
Your Dream, really trying to slow this down as Quill Sprays are still stacking up on In Your Dream. His first blood coming out. I think he understood he probably was going to die there, but he wants to set up the creep equilibrium mid lane for himself, and the Jokam was there on the Rubik, and he's kind of set it so it still works out for the Queen of Pain.
That was a really good read coming out from T1. This is something Bristlebacks do like to do. It's always that first mana pool that's key with Bristleback. You don't find that killed, you do manage to delay the wave. It is kind of equalized by Jokam. In the end, you're not getting anything. Armel is stuck here, with a few EXP points in, and IYD is just straight into level 2.
Yeah, it's a really good idea from Armel. Not really panning out the way he would have liked, but he will find the third creep wave. Jocam's gonna stick around on the position 4 Rubik.
Dyer's courier
I guess the one
has
thing
been slain.
Tim's
Dyer's courier
does
has
find
been
a
slain.
courier for himself. Armel
News of
finds
the
one as
death
well.
is
and
expected to
Good
travel
items on
swiftly.
one of those couriers. I know that. A lot of regen was available on one of them. Now Pollison's going to join in Armel, and you know the thing is with your farm escalates really quick as a bristleback if you just keep doing this. As you're not really missing any CS. Only is it seems as though T1 knows how to deal with it though. Top lane, rather playing Miracle, is freaking around up against KB. Top lane Gabby gonna be chased down on the Slark, and looks like he'll be okay. And look back to Armel now. He's done himself off to the tier 2. That'll give a kill away to Pollison. Is he really gonna continue to reset himself like this? Because I feel like it's not gonna be as effective as you would think.
It really depends on how confident he feels now. He does have a bottle up and running, so he has a little bit more regen to play with. Is at level 3, does have level 2 cold sprays up, so he can kind of pump the damage back to IYD. Now, IYD lost his courier, lost his regen. He has a bit of a window where he can apply a bit more harass, although the courier does respond, able to fly out what he needs. Looks like he is just going to wait for the bottle gold, though. A little bit more waiting for IYD still. Armel with full mana, full HP, bottle charges up, is going to be happy to just play the lane normally now. Or is
Armel's not.
No.
He's going
Okay.
straight towards that wave behind, and he's going to do it again. Without the courier,
Okay.
and your dream has no regen. He's kind of stuck.
His courier might die again if he does stop it in time.
How do you get it past Armel?
Don't. Well, now you could.
Quickly bring it over in your dream. Just going to be sitting there very low. March will rotate now on the Keeper of the Light, but Pollison is also going to rotate on the Pugner. Armel is being very disruptive. I mean, this play, even though it doesn't look amazing for Armel, he does now have 20 last hits, and to make matters even worse for T1, you look at Miracle on the Morphling, he's not having the best of times. He is struggling
Definitely
a little
isn't.
bit up against KP.
He's struggling, but you could say the same thing about Gabby. He's at 12-0. Left Miracle to handle this lane by himself up against Nature's Prophet. Can really punish him when he shifts into any of his forms. Like NP just does a lot of damage. He has to summon so small. It's hard for Miracle to really sustain that lane. I'm surprised he's actually even financing.
Well, now
It's
it's going to pull the wave. So they're pulling waves from 2 lanes now, John. As,
Yeah.
We'll see Pollison come in with Jocam. In your dream, of course, still behind them. He does have level 3 Scream, and he will go straight on Armel. Armel really wants the creep wave before he dies. He will not get it, however. March trying to secure a courier, but he dies, and that is going to be a lot of XP
Tower
being
under
mined from the Bristle.
I feel like a broken record.
It's... I think there's a certain point where you really ought to stop this, because sure, you're finding last hits, but you take a look at in your treaty. It's at level 6 on the Queen of
Radiant's
Pain.
middle tower
And
is
you compare it to
under
their
attack.
Bristol, a full level
I have no
behind.
reason to lie about
26
such
last
things.
hit, sure. But that's still a massive amount behind Queen of Pain, although I don't believe there's really too much Armel can do now. He is at level 5. This is the point where he should be able to stay in the lane normally. And it does look like they are switching out to kind of apply that pressure normally, give their side lanes a bit more support. Gabby, again, on that Slark. If you thought Miracle was doing bad, Gabby's farm is really just no better, in fact, a bit worse. So you're going to need to help out their own Slark.
Radiant's
Farm.
top tower is under
Ferev's
attack.
not making it any easier. He just
And not in
moves
a
forward
good way.
again on the Centaur and just continues to dish out harassment onto Gabby. Gabby will slowly but surely start to catch up. Mid lane is still a complete circus here as Pollison and Tim's have joined in once again, and they are really not allowing Armel any space. He's still yet level 6. He should with this large range creep, though. In your dream may go for the deny, does not. Now a stampede top lane. They are going to face March on the Keeper of the Light.
Radiant's
And that
top
seems to be
tower is under
the game
attack.
plan here for Forever. If he's committing everything.
Just former teammate, you know, rough play there. Still, it's not like they're gonna be finding any sort of kill anyway. Just taking this opportunity. They know that TNC is just trying to secure farm. Not gonna be too many opportunities to find those cores out. Gabby is just in a rough spot, right? He's walking back to base. He's gonna be able to TP back in, but the farm game for both of these possible cores has been on the backseat. Miracle's not doing great. The focus has been on IYD and Armel, and to an extent, P and Forev. But these two cores, these two POS ones, they don't flash farm particularly well. You can argue that the Slug can clear out camps a bit fast. He certainly can, but I mean, Gabby's level 4. Even Miracle's at level 6.
Miracle still being disrupted here by Tim's. Looks like they won't really be able to disrupt him enough. Miracle just gets back to farming. He's going to be okay. You already mentioned the level difference. It's a 2-level difference between these POS ones. And in fact, we should have a look at those hero levels right now. And as you can see, it's really favoring the side of T1. As you do have 3 cores above that level 6 mark. Unfortunately for TNC, they only... That does matter quite substantially.
Definitely. I think the game plan right now for TNC is to try to mitigate their losses. They have invested heavily on Armel to try to find something, although Tim's being caught out.
Yeah, it's not great for the Earthshaker. He does Sonic Wave on In Your Dream. He won't need to commit it. We'll just go ahead and scream again. It's going to be a killing spree now for In Your Dream. And, you know, John, you said he does play a very nice Queen of Pain when we were in the drafting phase. If you're going to feed him kills like this as well, you know, he's top of the net worth board right now. This is not safe, TNC.
No, definitely not safe. Turn on that investment on Armel. Again, they spent a lot of that early game there. They have actually rotated Gabby down mid, up top
Forever. Disha gonna be there now. KP gonna join in. They just want to find a kill across the map, and Forever should go down. So at least they get a nice pickup for themselves and double on their way up. Except they're gonna try and set up for that top T1 tower. In Your Dream, however, will be able to defend. Does have Sonic Wave again.
Very nice.
We'll force out the blink with the sprout.
Structures are fortified.
You've got Joe Cam there as well, though Joe Cam's really only sitting at level 4, but I guess at least his aura does help the In Your Dream Queen of Pain. In fact, KP gonna get jumped on. Shadow Strike not being thrown out yet, but there it is, finally coming out. Now March trying to give Armel some chakra magic so he can keep fighting on this Bristol back and In Your Dream. He's gone too far. He does manage to barely blink away, but Forever, he misses the hoof stop on the Centaur, and this should mean as again, as Armel will be able to clean him up with the Bristleback. And I don't believe they'll be able to actually defend this this top lane T1. I think they have to just let it go. On the brighter side, however, Miracle is all the way down bot by himself, and he will be able to just clear out that T1 and get both bounty runes.
Yeah, you are getting a lot of gold out of this from T1 at the very least onto your Morphling. The same could be said about Gabby on TNC, right? Like, his Slark has been on while that engagement was happening up top. So this time distraction is buying space for both our both of our past ones to find the farm they need. And it's still a catch-up game for both. They are still heavily behind everyone else. Although you are starting to see some of that investment in Armel really start to pay off. He just about to finish one of his build-ups first. It does look like a Vanguard is going to be flying out first. So he's just going to be that much tankier, that much harder to deal with. That could give a lot more for TNC to play with.
I take it back my previous statement, by the way. TNC did manage to get 4 bounty runes. This KP just TP'd in, and now mid lane. Forever gonna get jumped on again. Armel just slowing him down with the nasal goo, and In Your Dream falling very low with the Nature's Wrath that came from KP.
Radiant's structures.
They will not be able to secure that T1, but it does get very, very low. While both side lanes have lost their own T1s. And on the brighter side for T1, getting Miracle quite a bit of free farm, where Gabby is kind of just stuck in his own jungle right now. I suppose clearing out stacks is almost just as good as clearing out creep. And you know, considering the In Your Dream Queen of Pain is at such a high level right now, and I kind of expected to be a bit more aggressive and try to find team fights, especially with Sonic Wave, but I haven't really seen him commit it yet. We're almost 12 minutes in. Currently up top farming again.
It's been a rather big slowdown here from T1. They had a lot of kills earlier on. That was more in response to TNC playing really far forward, I think. And T1 probably just want to buy time for the more. If they don't get the fight out, so that's fine. I think they're kind of weary of potentially jumping into RML again. He's a bit tanky. They don't quite have as much sustainable burst. They do not have any strict cooldowns to play around. Like, sure, you're leaving that Sonic Wave up. You're not really pressured time. I think that's explaining the slower pace of the game here for T1, although RML
gets the cripple fight up. It's a lot of magic damage, though. Where's the Sonic Wave? RML does finally throw it out. He wanted to hold on just in case he didn't need to, but he almost dies in the process of them waiting for it, and well, at least they do get the RML kill. In fact, they're going down bot now, trying to find the Nature's Prophet, but he's TP'd out. Instead, they should be able to try and secure this bot T2 tower.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice pickup for T1. We kind of saw them set the pace like this last time as well, just slowly clearing out that bot lane, then slowly clearing out the mid to take entire control at bottom jungle, and from there really just start farming up and shutting down the map. TNC, they've got to find a way of getting control back. They still are waiting for a lot of things to come online. Gabby still hasn't finished up that diffusal blade just yet, and we do have the blink up on Tim's though. So we have that opportunity with a big Echo Slam to really make plays. I think we should be expecting TNC to start taking initiative soon with that item.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Must I repeat myself?
Might have his chance very, very soon, as Forever again showing mid lane. RML gonna start with the goo. TP gonna TP in. They really want to try and chase this Centaur kill. They don't want to allow Forever to have a great game like he did last time around. Forever again going to be sprouted up. RML just taking the front lines, but now the Hoof Stomp comes out, but they'll commit Will-O-Wisp. They just really are just going to commit everything, as now they found Polis and Tims just jumping exactly where he needed to. And they even plant the D branch. They will go after the mid-tier 1 tower.
Should be a fairly straightforward tower to take. T1 this time around just do not have big team fights.
Any fool can see.
Sphere, nothing like the egg to really time themselves, so they don't have that potential in the big 5v5s. This time around, TNC has superior control with that Will-O-Wisp. One is going to have to bleed some ground.
Be a little bit out of position. We do have an observer with scout cam. He does see RML.
I'll take that.
Secure the bounty runes once again. Echo, top lane. Oh. They found In Your Dream. Tim on the Earthshaker, just getting in there with the Fisher, the Enchant Totem, and the Echo. It's just nothing.
Really big pick off for TNC, just managing to find that big target. Now are on. They had the kill advantage, they had a 1k net worth advantage, which wasn't too much. That has swung back to TNC. Now let's really need to kind of try to tie it up here, T1. Still waiting for their morph to be up, although RML is...
KP does have the Spirit Vessel up now. Prophet, so you have ways of dealing with the Morphling, but KP, it's a sprout. Waveform up and they just back off. To be in all fairness though, Gab has had enough time now that he has a diffusal blade up. So it looks like we start seeing this a little bit aggressive with it. Really, this rune. RML will be the one up, and I wouldn't blame them for They're going again on that center. They won't quite catch him out of position. That being said, Brev doesn't really have a on cooldown for another 30 seconds. Will help him with the Decrepify. Just kind of roaming around. There could be a fight if they so wish, and don't have to try for it. Just try the smoke. Constantly in the front, ensuring they can't really make their vision with that out. In your dream, does break your smoke and jump in. Mel again, not really the target you want to go for. T1, they just could not find the opening.
Bit of wasted time there from. But TNC at the very least, KP should be able to TP out. Nope.
No, Adaptive Strike is going to be there now. Jocam must come in on the roof. Not save the lift. Jocam used it very early on after the first TP.
Killing.
While that was happening, bot lane, where the hell did Thunder go down? It's Tim's once again on the Earthshaker, just cleaning up the pug.
Having a lot of issues here. TNC will be starting to pick up that pace. They still are taking it slow, you know, they're not forcing their hand just yet. He does come in for
enough Stampede. Does use the Crimson Guard. I don't think it's going to really be enough. And yeah, Tim's again, he's just gets a Fisher off, cancels the TP, and it's now a 7-7. But more importantly, TNC with a 3 control of this game. In fact, who are they going on now? It is Jocam though. Echo in your dream getting caught out on the quap. Can they hold him down long enough? They got a pass. Although it will be. They even found Miracle's which did have the Pupil's gift on it. It's just getting from bad to worse for T1. They just really getting any breathing room. Yeah, not done. Jocam shows his face. They do Decrepify to save him for now, but can you really save them? And gets a beautiful Fisher off. Pollison's falling low as well in the pug. He goes down. Could be in trouble, though he'll just shatter down. TNC. Now.
If they've gotten control on the map, they've gotten a significant net worth lead. They're super confident. They're smoke. They can find more kills here. And T1, there's really just not much they can do.
Brev diffused up. Again, just with all the control. Stampede comes out, but doesn't matter. It will, as Brev is starting to get surrounded. However, KP gets blown up by Miracle. Now they do find the Centaur, but who is he to? No one apparently. It's on cooldown, but Tim's
Kill. Double kill.
Miracle. He's gone too far. Tim's has all the control in the world. The waveform will come him. So I guess at least they found the Nature's Prophet. They are still very, very far behind in this.
That's for me.
If they've got
Blinks away, but now they know the Blink's on cooldown. Tim's again rotating over. It's like in your dream, we'll be okay this time. What do you do if your team this matchup, John? It's getting harder and harder as time goes on.
You're relying largely. He's slowly working towards finishing up that Manta. Even then, I wouldn't say he's ready to go, although.
Gabby gets caught out.
The bottom tower is under attack.
Now a huge. Very, very little has been stolen. He is holding TNC now, but Armel, he's trying to
under attack. I feel like a broken record.
But there's just too much. Either way, is still available.
Tower is under attack.
Looking for that really nice echo. Does morph to the ES, gets the Fisher off. Is a
Tower is under an extraordinary amount of
Gabby and Armel is able to finish the job off. And it's just getting from bad to
I don't
the fall.
Dyer's bottom
That
tower
net worth
has
lead
fallen.
going
Dyer's bottom
higher
tower
at
is under
TNC.
Yeah, they've managed to really wrestle control away from T1. They've
Sorry,
seen
I
too
just
much
noticed
impact
that
from
Dyer's
Miracle at this
bottom
point. He just
tower
does
is
not
under
have the
attack.
tools to get that done. It's very close to the Manta style, as mentioned. That going, and that early laning investment has paid off big time. Is going to be working into his AC and Crimson Guard as well. Too long considering how fast he's been farming up and how little contestation there can be from T1. It's a bit better. They need to find squishy targets in the back. Maybe go for March, even KP if you can burst him down. And Tim's is probably the biggest.
Dyer's top tower has fallen. I could have predicted this. Dyer's middle tower
Spamming
is
away.
under attack.
March just keeping him fueled up with that chakra magic. Meanwhile, Miracle, he does finish off a Manta style, but that's not exactly the answer you need yet.
Dyer's
More than
middle
that.
tower is under attack. Dyer's middle tower.
That tier 2
I
mid
feel
tower
like
gonna
a
go
broken
down.
record.
In your dream, still trying to farm up an Orchid. Really not having as good of a game as you would have during the start he had. TNC now. Easy Roshan attempt. I don't even see T1 trying to really go after this Roshan counter.
Addition to, they just don't have the tools to take a fight there. In some team fights, they've got this. They've got the AoE damage from IYD. They've got the Stampede, I suppose.
A taste
And
of
the
immortality.
turnaround.
and a question.
He has been trying. He's stolen a couple of Wisp. Used it a couple of times. It's just not enough so far from T1 to turn these engagements, and TNC is now very confident to just keep playing aggressive.
He'll get caught out on the Pugna. And, well, he has Decrepify. He'll delay things a little bit, but he's almost certainly going to go down. Tim's on the Earthshaker again, the one to pick. They just have full map control right now. TP up to the top, outpost in your dream. Did spot it out, so he would run away in time, but Gabby is on the chase with his own Shadow Blade. In your dream, show mid. Just no fear. Playing a game of cat and mouse between these two, and T1 is certainly the mouse right now.
They still need a lot more to get done here. Take a look at In Your Dream. As you mentioned, Orchid still trying to finish that up. He is just about 2 components away, so it's fairly close, but it doesn't feel like... Even then, the damage output's just not going to be enough. These heroes, they've got solutions to that silence as well, as long as Gabby, for example, had running beforehand, Orchid really won't do anything to keep that Slark in place.
Even having a look at over to Miracle, he's going for an Aghanim Scepter straight after the Manta, and I kind of question the same thing. Are they going to have damage going for that Ags build? We may not even have time to find out, as it looks like Karev has been caught out in the mid lane. Gabby with the pounce and Tim's with the picture, and now the Echo will just be onto 2 in the back lines, but Paulison very, very close to dropping here. In fact, he does, and now Joe Cam has nowhere to go. He does steal the Will-O-Wisp, but doesn't matter. It does not. They may be able to find a trading, but no, it looks like Gabby will be able to get away. In Your Dream, still holding onto the Sonic Wave as he didn't believe it was going to be enough anyway. And even if it was, the Slark has an Aegis. And so TNC, they will go to the high ground now. Nothing stopping them from this,
Structures are fortified.
except the fortify.
They are looking quite robust. Sorry, I just noticed that Dyer's
Not too much
bottom
T1 can do. At the very least, that creep wave is held back. So, you know, they're not going to be doing too much control left. Although, again, the side lanes are pushing up.
Dyer's bottom barracks has fallen. It cannot be stated firmly enough that Dyer's bottom barracks are under attack. Dyer's bottom barracks has fallen. There are more where that came from. Wait, what? There are no more where that came from. Radiant's courier has been slain.
T1 gonna try and at least defend this mid tier 3 tower. Crimson Guard harder for TNC to try and take this out.
Radiant's middle tower.
It's all a matter of
is
just
under
buying
attack.
time.
I have
It
no
looks
reason
like
to lie about such things.
Miracle is just trying to force them back as he can. In fact, Miracle has found quite a bit of gold in that small amount of time he has. He's very, very close to getting the full Ags upgrade.
Galaxies unseen.
Could be enough with the Earthshaker. I still question it myself, but you never know.
I think the big issue one with the morphling is that if you are looking to morph into Tim's, you never have vision of him. There's never an opportunity for Miracle to safely morph into him, get the combination off, get the damage out. It's just not there. This Ags should allow them a little bit more flexibility at the very least. You can morph into Sleeping Pain, or you can morph into Nether Ward to prevent high ground fire that might be able to dissuade them because it drops very fast. Is something that T1 can play with, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough just yet. I don't see the damage output changing. I can control from TNC playing a big factor here onto Miracle. He's still not become comfy to take the front lines in these fights. Still going to have to be very cautious in how these engagements go.
Shadow Amulet up. We got after that Shadow Blade on the Earthshaker. Do see the Aegis now expiring on Gabby, so you won't have that available for your next high ground attack. TNC may play very carefully and wait out that next Roshan. One moving forward, Paulison is way too forward.
Clark had his way with you.
Does
I think he wanted to just ward it up. Just wanted to get more control for T1. He really needs an escort to get that done, though. Even then, that's just up, I suppose.
He doesn't have buyback, but he will respawn in 17 seconds, but that is not going to be enough time. TNC really going to take the mid-tier 3 and may even get the round, so the repair kit will come out. They're going to go off the center for him. He is really not as tanky as you hope. He will have to come to Stampede to be able to get away from this. At least is making it a very, very slow process for TNC. They're not able to claim that tier, the
seeds of fortune.
the rank, trying to say, in the mid lane. They did get the tier 3.
Regeneration!
You haven't got any space to farm here if you are T. The base.
Just don't have control on the map. There's no safe point. There's nowhere that TNC can't jump them in. Have no vision on the map. Well, TNC just has complete control on where T1 can be and where to be. Miracle does have the Ags up. Do you have that Ag available for morph if you can have Faker? That's be really useful for that. If not, you have the options of, again, just turning into Pugna, spamming out those Nether Wards. So opt to. Nether Blast is nice for the push, although there's smoke now from T1.
There is, but you know, finding that Earthshake is going to be that much harder now that he has a Shadow Blade up. Tim's obviously aware that, you know, the more right. They'll smoke around in your dream. We'll try and bait out the side of TNC, and TNC is certainly moving their way down as Gabby will run with the Shadow Blade and underneath an Observer and Sentry, so they jump in your dream with the Orchid. Can they line him up in time? Gabby, that's a huge kill, and now Tims, they need to find this Shaker. Tims, he does get caught out and does. They have found another. Of course, it is March. Good team fight without one. Now Miracle, he does actually have the small boat. Not making it plays with that though. It's not going to last too much long. But you'd argue that is a very, very nice team fight if you are T1.
Yeah, I think one big thing that cost the TNC there was that I believe Gabby was playing drop hot potato with the gem. He was constantly dropping it on the ground and picking it back up, cycling through his inventory. That did give an opening for T1. He wasn't quite focused there. Is punished hard. And that does give T1 some breathing room now, not a great amount. You know, it's not like they've tied just yet. It's still a 14k deficit in favor of TNC, but they have managed to at least clear out that one tier 1 up top. Got a nice kill for their troubles, and they have a little bit of space to farm up in.
Could be dangerous for TNC though, giving that kind of space away. It's like now you feel like you can actually shoot Roshan the next time TNC goes for it, and Armel's already been checking. Roshan will be another 50 seconds away. And if you're T1, you almost certainly want to try and go for the counter. Like, you can't really allow TNC to just pick it up. TNC, they're just going to hang around that Roshan pit. They're not taking any risks. Make sure they know exactly when it's up. Yeah, in the meantime, Armel's going to have an Abyssal Blade up very, very soon, which is going to make Dream's life a lot harder. In fact, your Dream's being killed by a pounce. Gabby going to find a solo pick-off onto the Queen of Miracle, who's stuck around, maybe in trouble. Tim should have spotted him out. The TP away Miracle, does he make it? They won't find him. They didn't have the vision of the TP happen.
I take no pleasure in informing you that
the courier, at least, though, mid lane. I thought they may even try to go after Armel on the Bristleback, but then again, it is Armel on a Bristleback. They won't bother even trying.
Just way too big of a target, and punishment from TNC, just removing some of that confidence from T1, punishing out the very far movement from IYD. Does allow them to go into the Roche as well. They do need a Queen of Pain round to contest that. That highly mobile here is needed for that, and it is just going to be basically a free Roche. And we have TNC's second Roche of the game, so that's the cheese up as well. And I don't know how you're going to deal with this. That potentially the cheese on Armel, Aegis on Gabby. You cannot deal with a second life on any of these heroes.
Certainly can't.
Roshan is the latest,
but they have to. Gabby will have Aegis, Armel will take the cheese. Immediate smoke. TNC, this could be the end of the game coming out. One successful team fight. Not many buybacks available on the map right now. The only people that do have buyback is In Your Dream and Miracle. Gabby can find the Rubik. Nice fish coming out from Tims. They just want to get rid of Jokam immediately, and they do. Can they go through the HP off ramp? He's really not that tanky. Trying to cut away, but the Spirit's still ticking him down. Gabby does get the pounce thanks to the Sprout. Both heroes without buyback. Gabby will also manage to get his gem back now.
Dire's middle barracks.
And T1, how do you defend this final lane of Rax?
A significant development.
KP just jumps from behind, gets an Orchid off onto Polison. Also doesn't have buyback.
Dire's top tower is being attacked like nobody's business.
I don't think you can defend this. Merrick's not even in his base. He's just playing back with Tims.
Tim's just not allowing him to get back. And Tims is going to just play with him. Now, the Rax has already been taken, so he may as well just have some fun. Miracle will try to go back at it.
Own it.
No, the game's over. Mega Creeps are up the TNC, and they are able to force to a game
Yeah, really well played from TNC. Interesting laning tactics that did pay off in the NT1. Kind of having to sacrifice a lot of that farm on the Morphling. I mean, they did the same thing to...
Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for our third game of this best of three between TNC Predator
10
and
seconds remaining.
it is MLP DOTA and John X Fire. John, it's been a real back and
5
forth
seconds remaining.
between these two, but I'd argue both
Dire
teams
team
have had
ban.
quite dominant victories in their
Radiant
respective
team
games.
ban.
I wonder, who do you think looked better in their winning game?
I think T1 looked a lot more dominant in theirs. They certainly ended the game a bit faster. TNC were much more in control. It wasn't as flamboyant as how T1 won their game, but it certainly looked a lot more domineering. You know, they just had control from start to
10
finish
seconds
in game number
remaining.
2, and they were just setting the pace from the get-go.
5
So
seconds remaining.
I think both of them look impressive. Would have to say that at the very least T1 finished faster, if that matters to anyone. Fairly evenly matched. Interesting to see what T1 does. You know, the Keeper of the Light or the Bristleback, because that's something TNC falls back to a lot. Yeah, I think just taking this option should force to shake it up a bit for T1 if they want to kind of achieve that.
I mean, so it's going to be an interesting game. Something we can say for sure. It should be a very fun one, and both teams have learned
Dire
quite a
team
lot
ban.
about each other
Radiant
as this
team
series has
pick.
gone on. We see the Pugner finally banned out from TNC. They don't want to have to deal with that again from Polison, and I can't blame them, as even if they did win
Dire
in that
team
game one.
pick.
Oh, sorry.
Keeper of the
Pol-
light.
This is just
Oh.
infuriating.
Ember
One got
spirit.
rid of the Bristleback, but TNC don't care. Keep the line anyway. T1, they will respond with an M pickup.
That's fair enough. Spirit into the Keeper of the Light can be rather annoying for the Embers. You really have to be cautious about that Will-O-Wisp
10
usage.
seconds
So you
remaining.
have to always be aware for that Keeper is, if possible, perhaps him out
5
first.
seconds remaining.
In big team fights beyond
Radiant
the Ember Spirit's
team pick.
such a solid core. We banned out first. T would go down next. Look like we're going to be seeing either a safe lane or with that Ember Spirit, or perhaps DP flexibility. T1 is they want to throw these guys into different roles, and that DP pickup should give T a way of pushing
10
down towers now
seconds
as well.
remaining.
You are going to be tied into that cooldown with the exorcism.
5
We
seconds
have
remaining.
T1 play around those cooldowns quite fine in game, so I don't doubt that they should be able to make that work for themselves here in the last.
The DP was banned out in game 1 and 2, and I think this was the no, they chose to get rid of instead of the Death Prophet, so T1 just switch it up with that. More importantly, I wonder what TNC do without this Bristleback. Both of the first games did have Armel's Bristle. This time, that option is no longer available. They won't be able to have those shenanigans in the mid lane where they're just kind of going behind the T2 tower and just completely
Radiant
skipping all the
team
waves.
ban.
Legion Commander.
TNC for a Legion instead. Love to see her.
It's a solid core to have still. I think there's still a lot of value in the Legion Commander, especially when both teams have with the aggression they've been pumping out. You can see the LC really start to build up if you find those early kills. It's really solid in any lane as
10
well.
seconds
Overwhelming odds and the
remaining.
sustain you get from your spawns means that it's going to be hard to shove that
5
LC out,
seconds remaining.
and it should be reasonably fine for the LC to farm at the very least here.
Could be. Yeah, the LC is such a strong. Like, it's very
Dire
hard
team
to win a
ban.
lane up against the Legion Commander. Never really ends up losing
Dire
the lane.
team
There's just so much sustain on this hero. It almost kind of reminds you of like an Omni Knight who could just continuously heal up and you just can't really do anything about it. Still T1 with their third pickup as the ban came out rather quickly.
Radiant team.
Which one of these cores are going to be supports? You pick up a Tusk now, so there's the POS 4 coming out. Still not really revealing what's going on with this Ember Death Prophet.
I mean, for T1, you have the flexibility of having both of them as core anyway, if you're absolutely confident. Ember on safe, DP mid, or maybe DP off Ember mid, something like that. You do have that flexibility, of course. You can see maybe something like this support Ember Spirit. I believe that is somehow a thing in some circles. And the Death Prophet support is something we've seen before. That is something they could work out. I think they could just hold on to that flexibility until later on. Try to suss out what exactly TNC does. There's more to play with. At the very least, they are keeping TNC on their toes. Trying to work out what they do want for their map.
Okay, cool. TNC using a lot of reserve time for this third pick. 26 seconds left. They do go back into the Tim Snapfire. Interesting pick to say the least. Of course, Tim's, we saw him last game on his signature Earthshaker. Really, I wouldn't want to say carrying the game, but man, he was setting up so many kills for his team, making it very difficult for T1. Will he be able to repeat the performance on the Snapfire? Because game 1 we saw it. Really, while he was doing well, it just didn't seem to be enough.
Definitely. I think, again, you have that solid combination with the Keeper of Light. You have a way of guaranteeing those Legion Commander duel wins now. As long as you have level 6 in the Snap, duel goes off, Mortimer's Kiss is on that target. You are going to win that duel. It does help the Legion Commander escalate quite fast. You get a lot of value from that combination there. It's a solid hero to have. I don't think T1 really has anything to take away from that Snap, from that utility you're getting from the Snapfire. The Ember Spirit's the only real hero that could reach to that backline to stop that Mortimer's Kisses channel. If you want it to stop, of course, we have seen a lot of teams really just ignore it completely, and T1 does bring out the Undying itself. So they've got this great hero that can be in front, that can sap away the strength, can be really disruptive with the Tombstone, has a great heal and nuke in that Soul Rip, and of course the Golem can be nice for a bit more of debuffs going on to the enemy team. It does have a bit of a timer though. You want to play aggressive early on to leverage its huge early game potential. You don't want to taper off too hard with that, and it certainly is kind of showing us that the Ember Spirit and DP are more than likely going to be cores.
I mean, that's definitely kind of confirmed now with T1, which makes enough sense. They're both very, very powerful pickups anyway, so you don't really care too much about first picking those two. TNC, they do go into the Queen of Pain, so now Armel will take the reins of the Quap. We saw it last game. Your dream. We thought he was going to have a good time. He did not. That being said, however, there isn't... I say there's not too much to lock her down. You do have the Chains of the Ember and the Silence of the Death Prophet, which is somewhat concerning for this Queen of Pain, because you definitely have the answers.
You do have certain ways of keeping her in place. At the very least, it's not instantaneous. It's not the most reliable as well. So as long as you're not caught out immediately after blinking, there should be a window where you can kind of play around with that at least early on when damage isn't too high.
10 seconds.
It's going to be interesting to see this one from TNC. I think this does give them a lot more aggression. Their lineup is looking like can come on fast. They just want to run you down very early on, hit their level 6s, get early duel wins, have their Queen of Pain come in with a Sonic Wave, clear out waves, clear out towers fast. I think the only thing we're looking for from TNC now is something to help them get a push going, because these heroes don't necessarily have the worst times pushing out the tower, but they certainly aren't the fastest ones. Well, if they get an offlaner that can perhaps give them a little bit more push, maybe see that NP coming out again from KP, I think you'd get a lot of value from that instead. Shift out the lanes if you want to go for that route. They go to Morphling instead, so once more, it looks fairly Morphling game at the very least. you know, again, with a lack of instantaneous stuns, there are ways for the Morphling to kind of play around there. It has to worry about the Death Prophet Silence, but that is a heavily telegraphed spell. Have a lot of leeway here with how you juggle your HP.
T1, one final pick. They don't even think too far about it. They go for the Ricky.
Select your hero.
That is one way to lock this Morphling down. Diffusal, Smokescreen should be more than enough. And it also deals with the Essence Shift very nicely. Or sorry, the Attribute Shift quite nicely from Gabby. Overall, John, both drafts are done. Who do you think has the better looking draft in your personal opinion?
It's hard for me to pinpoint down. I want to say TNC is actually looking a bit stronger here. I just feel like the potential that they can pump out with the LC Snap and Queen, along with the Keeper for Light once they have that Will-O-Wisp up, is pretty darn strong. T1 doesn't have too shabby of a team fight, but they are lacking a bit in control. They're going to be relying on landing those chains and having Forev always hit the silence on that DP and having Jokam around for that snowball, which again, none of them are instantaneous. You could see moments where Armel and Gabby can just kind of slip out. And of course, you have to buy time for Miracle to get big. We've seen this with Ricky's. They do take a while to really come into their own, to play that delaying game with the rest of their heroes while that happens.
Fence here with this. I think T1 looks a bit better, but it's hard to say. I agree with you. They both look kind of pretty good going into this. Still, we will find out. This is game number 3 of this best of 3 in TNC Predator versus T1. And, I mean, this series has looked so even as we the games, and really could just go either way. It seems as though it's just about who has the better start, as every single game we have seen, the person who does win out the first 10-15 minutes tends to just carry the game through all the way to the end.
Definitely. It really just gets dictated by that laning phase into that early mid game. That's what really dictates who has to play the catch up, can start setting the pace of the game themselves, start forcing movements themselves. I think it's really that early part of the game that's important. And this is going to be interesting to see. Like, Paulson right now is up top with Miracle, although it looks like they might be walking Miracle away, but that's a dual lane that really doesn't give me too much confidence. Ricky Undying just doesn't sound
weird.
Potent. There's no synergy there, no direct synergy.
But if you do rotate the Tusk up with Tag Team, and you get a few decay stacks off, it does seem like it could get a few kills for them.
30 seconds to battle. I had a terrarium once, rather like this. Well, except with mice.
I don't really know if it's going to be enough. I guess we're going to have to find out.
We're much the same.
The thing is, the attack is so much more effective when you get decayed. You can just basically heal up to full and just wait for the decay to wear off.
Again, that's one of the things with with Undying and Decay. If you can heal through it, then it actually gives you a lot more value from your healing. It just brings you back to full very fast. At the very least, T1 does get a good amount of runes for themselves. 3-1.
Good. We do see already Jokam is going to rotate up, and it's the Tusk. You have level 1 tag team, you want to make as much use of it as possible early on, because that's really when it's most powerful. For now, he will go to the mid lane. Jokam looks to try and see if he can find this Queen of Pain courier coming out early on. And it looks like it is on its way, but he has left. Gone TP down to the bot lane, where he'll try to assist Forev on that off-lane DP up against Tims and Gabby. And probably going to see a lot of focus in just slowing down Gabby, as we saw in game 1, where they really just shut him down completely. Tim's almost going to go down, but not quite there. Still doesn't really have a salve, so he will have to just slowly heal up with the tangos.
This combination from T1 isn't, again, the most synergistic, but you can really make it work once you apply those slows on. Once you have at least level 2 on the DP, I think, with a level in Spirit Siphon, you can really just dive in, find those kills, and it's going to be hard for the counterplay that from TNC.
KP is just casually pacing this Ricky courier. He does not find it, and he's taking a lot of T1 tower damage. Miracle with some very nice macro as he's going for CS underneath his own T1. That was quite beautiful to watch. And AP getting a little bit too excited. He's forced back out of the lane as much Paulison trying to harass out March a bit on the Keeper of the Light. Trying to be as disruptive as possible, because you know, the one thing is the Ricky really doesn't enjoy going up against the Keeper of the Light in lane, because the blinding light just makes it so hard to secure in form of CS.
Yeah, it's one of the things that the Riki is gonna lose out on. At the very least, you can still play with your Blink Strike, I believe. I believe that still does the tick of damage. Cast at least the bonus damage you're supposed to get. Can play with that. It's a very tight window for it, though. It's not much damage. Really something that will slow down Merrick a little bit, although he has been kind of left alone. You're not seeing the pressure coming out from, at least.
Mid lane. You see Armel there on the Queen of Pain up against In Your Dream. In Your Dream, considering the matchup is having a decent time so far, basically just trailing in CS by a couple. It's to be expected though. It's very hard to fight into a Queen of Pain with Shadow Strike being leveled up. All you can really do is Flame Guard through it. You won't really have the chains till later on to really try and deal with her effectively.
At the very least, you can try to time your set of fist around, but then you have to choose whether to try to dodge the Scream or the Dagger. And I think overall, you're going to be happy to just trade farm here. It's a slight lead for Armel, but it's not like IYD is completely behind just yet. The denies Armel has. It's going to make it a bit rougher here for IYD.
Radiant's structures are not only fortified, they are positively glowing.
Awesome. Top lane, gonna jump in with Miracle and KP. Gonna be fine. Again, the blinding light comes in from the corridor, and that'll just stop anything. Although Paulson is still thinking about moving forward. Did pop a mango, but doesn't make anything of it as KP will just continue to taunt. That's really all he can do. Doesn't really have much lane control, but will also just commit the overwhelming odds and continue to try and secure CS that way. He's a little bit afraid of this Undying moving forward again. There's Paulison spamming Decay, and KP just doesn't feel confident to really move forward onto those creeps.
Yeah, it's, I mean, if one of those do stack up, the Riki does have a good amount of damage to keep
In Your
out.
Dream finds the first blood onto Tims as they were trying to make a gank. Paul's now going to rotate over just to ensure the Ember is going to survive through this. The Soul Rip will come out just to ensure it. And so it was meant to be a first blood on the Ember. However, they end up giving it away. Though Armel does jump back in after In Your Dream gets a nice Shadow Strike off. Your Dream may actually be dead this time. Then again, Paulison is still around, and no idea. He's still running. Looks like he will survive.
Just on the edge there, but he is forced to back off now. He can TP back in at the very least. This is going to give Armel a little bit more time down mid to give himself a lot more to play with. Once he hits his level 6 ahead, that could be enough for him to really commit to IYD if he steps just a bit.
TP back to the lane. Hasn't lost too much time, but it does give Armel a lot of time to get some very safe CS, and now he's at 32 on 14. Dream gonna start moving forward, harass him out a little bit with the Flame Guard, but Armel's not too afraid. But just harass him back, and in fact, links forward. Sonic Wave is available. He's thinking about throwing it out. He's run out of mana, but now he does get it out. It's not gonna be enough. The one charges were there from IYD. The top lane, another fight breaking out. Tims, he does his life to Paulison. Now they go up to KP where Jocam has joined in. They won't be able to secure the LC kill, but that is going to make it a 0-2 now for T1.
Again, finding those early laning kills so far. They do have a 1k lead, not the most massive amount, but they are certainly having a good time securing that farm for their Riki.
Gabby goes down solo to Forever. That is terrible news, and now March goes down to Paulison as Jocam just stuck around the Tusk. KP moving forward a little bit.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Probably wants to go after that Tombstone, but I don't think Paulison's going to make it easy. Goes for the decay. KP is set on it and does get a fair bit of gold out of that tombstone at least.
This is going to be a bit of an issue for TNC. 4Ev is at level 6. This tier bot, they have to rotate March in, try to slow that down, but I don't think that's actually going to stop the Ghost from hitting the tower.
Well, it's actually doing a lot of damage to Gabby. Spirit Siphon again coming out. That'll require another support rotation from TNC. In fact, it's Armil joining in on the Queen of Pain. But I don't believe they'll make the dive while the exorcism's still going. They may have to just wait that out. Forever, it's about to wear off. Does he back up? He gets a range creep and he does.
They forced out the response from TNC, so that means Armella is going to have to work his way back mid. That does give some time for IYD to just get some catch-up farm of his own. That does give Tim some space to soak at least, but take too long for the Queen of Pain to come back in.
Hey, Armil. Gonna make his way back. Gabby, again, though, going to be the target of a gank attempt as Jocam going to rotate in. Gabby does have waveform, so he should just be perfectly fine. Don't have the silence yet on Forever to really just keep him still. But this bottom lane, I mean, it's almost a repeat of what happened in Game 1, where
stress.
the farm he needs to really carry this game through for TNC. Jocam now, going to get spotted out by Armil. Snowball. Does really dangerous. He does have a haste rune active, and the shotgun coming out from Kim's will be enough. A lot of committal for that Jocam kill, however. Using the Sonic Wave up, and he did need a support rotation from.
Yeah, at the very least, they find their first kill. They do manage to punish that movement from Jocam. Still, you do have to worry about that progression on the Morphling. Like, free up that lane once more. 4Ev just comes in, starts to apply that pressure. Gabby is forced to play around with his Agi strength ratio and isn't finding too much lane farm. He's at 33 to 6. Compare that to 4Ev's 41 to 20. Miracle's 46 to 20. It's a much better time here for T1 in terms of raw farm.
KP going to drop top lane. Again, it's just another great setup here from Jocam on the Tusk. It's just the combination of the Undying Tusk really for T1. As tanky as the LC is, she just can't sustain.
Yeah, it's you can't really expect too much for the LC at this point. They can just press the attack and try to heal up. Damage isn't there, the pressure isn't there, they have to duel up, they're not finding those early kills as well. You really need those early kills.
KP does rotate, a nice duel coming up. Paulison, how do you help? He doesn't have Soul Rip, but it won't. They don't have the damage.
Oh man,
that is concerning.
That is a massive committal as well to try to find that dual win, man. I was talking about those dual wins being pivotal. They need them.
It's going to be there. Blinding Light will help a bit. Illuminate to fly through. In Your Dream actually goes down to the Illuminate and the Scream of Armil. They do get a trade by taking out Tim's, but I don't think you want to lose your Ember like that. Well, top lane, KP. It's just going to be free food here for Miracle on the Ricky. It seems as though every time Jocam's around the area with that level 2 tag team, it's just a very, very easy kill.
It just works quite nicely with Ricky's kit, amping up his damage, giving him a nice slow to control people into the tricks of the trade, getting a lot of value from that kind of combination. One has been making good work of this early game so far. I would like to see more guided aggression from TNC. Again, KP's had that duel for a while. Needs to get those early duel wins in. You do have the kisses up on Tim's, so that should be a much more straightforward process now. Do you have together?
Smoke up from Armil. Tim's and Gabby are also going to be there. Already, they jump in, although silence is there on Armel. He is falling very quickly and he does go down. Still snapped by Kisses flying. He will not forever. Now getting jeweled up, and Miracle, he has joined in. Still, they will get the duel win, but that's it. But a huge will-o-wisp coming out from March, just holding him back. The chains now from In Your Dream. He continues to move forward as March does fall on the Keeper of the Light. It looks like Tim should be the next target here for the Ricky. And eventually In Your Dream probably will find him, and he does. Chains he now has morphed into the... He will manage to remnant away in time, and Miracle just going to go for a run as Armel has respawned. Your Dream doesn't have Remnant. Sonic Wave will be enough, but now the snowball coming in. It will connect. Is it going to be there for Armel to go down? It is not. Miracle, he needs to run away. Forever now going to join back in on the DP. Overall, TNC win.
Definitely. They managed to find a better trip there. They do get the bigger heroes in exchange. They managed to get a dual win onto KP, so all things do work out for TNC there. It does take quite a fair bit of a response from both sides.
I feel like
Still,
a broken record.
T1 not going to be too happy about how to trade.
Dyer's middle
They found Gabby, though he does walk out of the smoke screen and does secure the T1. However, Armel may not be so lucky. And now Gabby's kind of alone. Tim's going to come in with the cookie.
Double kill.
Thing was, I believe Gabby was perfectly fine. So, maybe a bit of a misplay from
Radiant's
Tim's.
middle tower is under
Well, that's just going to give a secondary kill now to T1.
Yeah, just a bit of a misstep. Like the moment Gabby far left already, managed to reach close to that ramp. There's no real need to be there. I don't think the chase was going to be expended by T1. Weren't really committing when Jokam was up with the anyway, and that does just give a bit of a kill to T1 nonetheless. At the very least, it's just, he's not worth too, not bleeding too much by giving that away, but T1 will take what they can get. They're going to be happy with just finding that they are positioning around that bot lane again.
Tower is under attack.
DP's out just before the snowball
Has
comes
that
in from
ever been
Jokam.
cause for celebration?
They will not be able to defend this bot T1 tower.
Radiant's bottom tower is being subjected to extreme
They'll
violence.
actually leave it for Miracle as well on the Ricky to just come in and clean it up. Get that bonus gold for himself. But yeah, they really need to put that defusal up ASAP, and I can't blame them. Like, he's already 3-0 with 4 assists. He just needs that robe of the Magi to have the full defusal up. And that's the point where things start to get really silly, right? Because as Armel or the Morphling, you can't walk out of the smoke screen when you're perched up.
No.
Dyer's top tower
Just
is
going to be
under
a
attack.
constant issue for you to be stuck there. Of course, that just allows the rest of T1 to really on top of that. And KP is stuck in the middle of all of these heroes.
He's got a double damage. Tombstone, he drops shards, do not connect now to Jokam. He may be too far forward.
Radiant's middle
In
tower.
fact, they will not try to pursue
Structures
any...
are beautifully fortified. Dyer's top tower has
Radiant's
fallen. Middle tower is
That
under
mid-tier
attack.
one is a very, very valuable tower at this time of the game. And, well, they already have found the dire side tier 1, so
Radiant's middle
essentially
tower
just
is under attack.
taking the tower back for themselves.
I have no reason to lie about such things. Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Someone
Dyer's
must
top
be
tower
very
is under
pleased
attack.
with themselves. Or himself. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dyer's top tower is being attacked like nobody's
Got that
business.
defusal up in Miracle now. So he's ready to do his damage, he's ready to jump in. And compare that to Gabby on the Morphling. He really had that morbid mass. He's working towards the E-Blade straight up. But seeing that with the Morphling, it just takes a while to build into any state where you're ready to fight. And he's just constantly trying to buy Gabby some time. He is trying to play forward though. IYD, he has around. With Armel.
Could be a big kill. Dream. Jump in, but he's so quick. Sees the waveform, he's out of there. I think you need to probably wait for KP, but the problem is KP doesn't have a blink up yet, so he can't really make the initiation himself. Joke. Camp.
Radiant's bottom tower
I
is
understand there's an
under
observer
attack.
ward there, but
Has that ever
it's not
been
allowed
cause
to
for
be warded.
celebration?
Instead, they will start pushing the bot tier 2 tower.
Radiant's structures are fortified.
Tombstone already being dropped preemptively.
Radiant respiration, Dire's structures have been
This is going
fortified.
to be a very difficult team fight to try to
Radiant's bottom tower
You have the X's and the Masters on forever as well to boot.
Must I repeat myself?
Yeah, that's like because there's just no.
Dire's middle
Yes.
tower is under attack. I feel
Again,
like a
giving
broken
team record. control, they do really enjoy clearing out this bot lane first, getting control in that jungle and playing around that area. They're going to set themselves up here. You see TNC on that lower ground, I think is really the first what they're going to be happy with that first. At the least, TNC is effectively using time to farm up on Armel and Gabby. You're going to need to keep playing that farm as he will slowly try to chip away in the remaining map control TNC has.
NC trying to again buy time. Big Abby trying to get that ethereal blade.
You school.
Things.
Speedy rune of haste.
Time is ticking. Miracle is going straight into a BKB after the defusal. You know, once he has the BKB up, I don't think you kill him. Like the only answer is really the LC get the duel off, or he pop BKB. But essentially, Armel's going to become completely used trying to take him out, and you know, with the shotgun build on the morph, I don't think that's going to work either.
Now, it's going to be completely negated by this early pick from Miracle. And he should be... It's not the fastest pace, let's be frank. Don't really flash for too well. But if they this time away, TNC, and they will have to because they can't play aggressive while Gabby and Armel are farming up, then you're going to be facing into that. You're not going to have any solution to that. You don't really have a way of stopping that item from going off. And as you mentioned, you're going to be relying on maybe just KP control onto the Reiki, which could have his Blink Dagger by then, but that's not exactly the cutest thing. So you're gonna have to really be careful about that one. Be able to get a decent timing there on Miracle. But you've already got IYD. He's finished up his Spirit Vessel upgrade earlier on. Should have what looks to be a Maelstrom coming out soon as well, so his damage just immediately shoots up from that as well. Have Forev who's towards what looks to be, I believe, his Ewel's into the BKB, so he's gonna have a BKB on that DP as this game goes on, and you're just gonna lack the control to get any sit down. That combination with Tim's Snapfire, the Mortimer Kisses just won't do anything at that point.
Side T1 just gonna continue just
Strange to
maintaining
say,
control of
Radiant's middle tower is
TNC.
under
Forced
attack.
to they have now. They may just want to wait for this Blink Dagger to be available on KP before they really make a move. They're just kind of set up to defend it necessary. T1 aren't going to make the push quite yet. They're going to take their time.
Strange to say, Radiant's
Got it.
middle tower is under attack.
2 for 2 trade on the bounties as well, so nothing too special there. T1, they maintain this 5k net worth lead, but I think that as time goes on, it does get worse and worse for this Radiant side. Like, I don't think it gets much better with this farm on the morph, but perhaps if they found a Roshan, enough space for Gabby to really get there. But he's getting a bit bashed up here, to be fair.
There's no
Be
vision
alright.
from T1. They're not in any position to contest this, so gonna be a free rush going away from TNC. That's gonna give them a lot more space to breathe at the very least. Gonna give them some leeway with Gabby's farm. That does give them a nice little gold injection as well. Gonna be happy with that overall one. Probably, I know, like, sure, they give up that Roche. I don't think this is gonna change anything. It's on anyway. Gabby hasn't been joined this part. That means everyone else is still gonna be susceptible to dying. Finds, which haven't really. They've taken their time here as well. Slow down the pace. You do start to worry about T1's progression, like you have to wonder about Pulse on the Undying. He's rushing the Ags. I think that's really the only way you kind of maintain the relevancy of this hero. But it's a slow build-up for the Undying. Doesn't build up the Ags fast at the very least. He does have that Philosopher's Stone for a little bit more gold on him, and there is a smoke now. T1 feeling confident going in. They do have the BKBs up.
It's going to be a big team fight. It's going to be a hard one for TNC to deal with, and Gabby, currently on the front lines, may not be expecting this, but at least he does have the Aegis up, so it's not necessarily going to be the target they really want to go for first. They'd much rather Armel, who has his own BKB up and In Your Dream, going to chain him up. Silence is going to be there, but they perched off with the press the attack. T1 just not really feeling confident enough to make that jump.
The flames rush forward.
They'll just wait. They're just going to continue to keep these waves pushed in. This has bought time for Gabby to have that full Ethereal Blade now. And so the supports of T1 are going to with this. Like, you're at least going to be able to blow up, you know, one of these supports early as this team fight begins, when it does begin.
That should at least burst them up. I'm not sure which one you go for. Like, both of them are kind of tanky sports. Undying and Tusk do have a fair bit more HP than sports. Have silenced up Armel.
They have. Screen that does force out the 10-second charge of the BKB. So that's gone. Now, Armel really had no choice in the matter. He was definitely dead had he not. By the way, John, you have a look over to the Undying Polish. He's going for straight agony. As
yeah, it's the only way for him that relevance beyond that hero. He's having stronger decay stacks to come out, giving him a lot more to play with as well. I don't blame him for that. It is a slow progress, but again, he has that Philosopher's Stone to give him the GPM bonus, so he'll steadily work his way up to it.
They get Gabby. Smokescreen going to be defusal. Gabby has no BKB, but doesn't need it. He'll Ethereal, and the cookie will be there. Armel blinks in.
I have no reason to lie about such
BKB
things.
is on cooldown, however, KP gets silenced as he jumps in and couldn't get the jewel off in time. Now for it may turn this as Miracle Screen. Again, the cookie will save from Tim's. Still, it looks like TNC want to keep moving forward, but this could be very dangerous as now they look to turn around once again. On to Gabby. The silence will be there with the smoke screen. Do they have another cookie? Not quite, but he will start strength morphing. Still a lot of damage to come, and they will take down the Aegis. TNC now going to start setting up with the Snapfire Kisses. Paulson going to be the first target on the Undying, but he has got the Tombstone down. They will take him out. Now Forev, nice chance is there from Jocam. However, Forev is going to start falling low with that Spirit Vessel. He will use it off. Cookie won't land, but Snowball saved through the jewel onto KP, who does get stunned up. Sonic Wave is there, however, and Forev does drop regardless. In Your Dream is still trying to fight his Miracle. He does come back in after KP. They'll find the LT now. In Your Dream looking to turn this as Miracle. He's the cleanup crew. He'll take down James as well on the Snapfire. And it was a bit of a prolonged team fight, but I believe T1 did end up edging it out.
I think they traded fairly evenly, all things considered. That was support and an offlaner going away on each side, so really even overall. Even the changes in gold and EXP have basically come out even. 500 gold for TNC, 445 for T1, 0.3k XP for each side. Of course, I believe TNC does get a little bit more at the very least, because it's fairly evenly distributed. So really even from both. I think neither side's going to be too upset. You did expand bigger cooldowns on the side of T1, but that fight went for so long that Forev has Exorcism back up anyway. They're going to have that option next. At the very least, they did take out the Aegis initially, so TNC's not going to have that tool anymore. Undermorphling, and that is going to leave Gabby just a little bit more vulnerable than he'd like to be.
Smoke will come out from T1. Good fight. They'd rather Armel. Forever gonna run straight to him. Yule's immediately coming out from Armel. does get a snowball off just in time. Shant, is it going to be there? Not quite. Now the duel comes onto Joe. Still a nice smoke screen. And Gabby, he actually ends up dropping to In Your Dream. I mean, they found the Tusk kill, but it's your Morphling dying.
It would
Could be the tier 1 as well. They've got the exorcism running. Really good pickoff coming out from T1. Again, just not enough durability on that morph. A lot of ways for T1 to control that hero. With just E-Blade is not enough to stand in front there. He's saving up for his BKB. Isn't too far off. He's definitely gonna need that item before any sort of big engagement can break out here for T1.
Attacked like nobody's business.
On the tree line, the Armel Queen in that same tree line, just next to each other. Lead for Team 1. Even Joe can. Tom's going for an Aghanim Scepter build to have that walk spear. The smoke going to be broken on K. That is rather unfortunate. The Shard's just giving vision. Smoke will pan out to nothing.
I mean, TNC does still have to play a little bit of a stalling game. They were the ones smoked up. I think they really just look for a quick duel win with KP. Fortunately, not going to find that. Do need to get some forward wards going. They have one nice lane at the top and some good jungle wards on the bot lane, but not really deep. There's a lot of room there for T1 to play around. Not going to be spotted out. Could say the same for T1. They don't have the best vision in the world. They only have that one ward spot as well, but they are just playing aggressive regardless. Just knowing that they have a bit of an advantage for them. They're feeling fairly confident. They know they can just kind of do this on TNC. I'd say put out a little bit more vision, even if it's defensive. You do finally see the Ags coming out in Paulson, so early does grab it thanks to his Philosopher's Stone, and that is going to give him a lot more value on his decay. It's going to make it a lot harder to kill off this Undying. Just means he's going to be standing there with his Flesh Golem, doing a lot more than you'd expect.
I
wonder if he gets that Flesh Golem, Paulson. They move forward now. It'll be March that they find, and it's not really the kill they want, but can they even get it? No, March is just way too quick with Frankles, and he will outrun them. However, T1 set up for a tier push, but they won't go for it. Again, maintaining control of that Radiant side jungle. And TNC will occupy the dive while that's happening. And Armel scouting out the next Roshan, but it is a minute and a half away till we do see it come up. What's Gabby going for here? He's just trying to pick up his own BKB.
Not able to fight until that's done. Does feel like T1 slowing this is giving a lot of opportunities to tier 1 to TNC. Their build-ups. You delay a game, sure, it's fine, you're ahead 6. But you're playing against a Morphling, giving a Morphling space to get his farm back up, get his equipment ready. So Gabby's going to be in a very good spot to take these fights. He can stand forward. He's not going to be immediately controlled up or bursted down. He has some leeway out now.
Well, smoke will come out from TNC now. Tims will TP to join the team. They will barely not make it in terms of scouting him out, and now they do spawn out for Rev in that mid lane as the DP. Mind you, you are fighting into a Battle Fury of Miracle on the Riki now, so it can be a little bit scary how much damage that tricks the trade. Armel still moving forward, but he does smoke with the Scream on the creep wave.
Trickster's Rune of Illusion.
We're going to have a counter smoke. He also revealed the smoke. I don't know if TNC's seen this. They head to the Roshan pit, which is actually up.
Dyer's
The Undying Courier scouting that
has
up.
been slain.
So Armel will just take it out. So now you kind of understand where TNC's position. Your dream run up and does get up with the campaign. Still it is perched on the prestige. But they really want this LC dead. Snowball, they were huge Will-O-Wisp mark. Everyone on the side of the Dire, and they're just melting right now. The kiss is the sonic wave. The buybacks to fly out, but T1 not looking great. In fact, never mind. They're going to move back into this. They keep moving forward, but now Gabby will clean up. They'll get Jewel in your dream. He'll go down from the Ember, and that may have just secured the Roshan for TNC.
Yeah, stopping it now from T1. Could try to make a play with Jokam. He does have the blink there. So if he just wants to steal that Aegis away and perhaps even the cheese, try for it. But that's really going to be giving his life away as well. Not going to be any real contention coming out. That play. TNC once more is going to have themselves a second life and a little bit of HP to play with in the next fight.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
The mid-tier 2 going down thanks to Miracle, so he knew the Aegis was going. Just pick up the tower while he can. TNC can the drive, although Tim's getting jumped immediately. Miracle hasn't finished the job off, may turn around, but now the LC comes in. It was all a bit of a bang. KP will secure the kill with Gabby. Now going to Jokam. And Jokam probably will be able to move this out well. He'll go for the team's kill, I believe. In fact, no, go to the neutral, and he will get blown up by the shotgun of Gabby. T1, they had a really significant net worth lead. No longer existent. TNC take it back all the way there and look to be the ones in control of this game.
Definitely. We're at that point. Is pretty darn big. Gabby's pretty much set to just take over this game. He's building towards his Scotty now as well. So you're looking at the Morphling who has managed to bounce back in, and you start to see issues with T1. Their supports just don't feel like they're giving you too much, but you do catch KP.
KP's got no way out of that. No, he's blinked 4. He does have a cheese and BKB available, so he feels safe enough, and he pops the BKB, but he is very low. Do you want to jump back in? Go after Forever. Undying Tombstone has been dropped on Mel. He will eat the cheese. Now the Will-O-Wisp holding them in. They want that Tombstone first. They still haven't found it. This isn't looking great, Armel. He does die, and you've lost the Aegis of the Morphling. Gabby, he finally gets the damn Tombstone. And it does end up finding Forever and Polison. They may turn. In your dream, he gets a chained off that spirit vessel onto Gabby. Miracle trying to find another target on the Ricky to secure. A very forced team fight from TNC, and
alarmist, but
I don't know if that's exactly what you wanted. It just didn't seem like they could finish the Tombstone, and the damage coming out from T1 was just so darn hot.
Yeah, that's just a bad fight to take in a really rough location. That was a really good Tombstone drop coming out of Paulson. Just right up the hill, no vision there. They couldn't manage to clear it out. They did trade 2 heroes for that, but in the end, they did take out, of course, they finished out the Aegis as well from Gabby. So that little bit of there from TNC is gone. Although Gabby still does manage to finish up the Eye of Scotty anyway, so you're looking at a highly farmed Morphling in the end. Still going to be a big hero to take out, but you're not still with 2 lives on Gabby, and that could make the difference here for T1. They still are able to bring it back to TNC. Still a fairly even game, 17 to 20. 1K T1, that has definitely dropped off from what it was before, and you could argue that TNC is looking a bit stronger at this point in the game. Not quite there yet completely, but they are starting to whittle away T1.
T1 gonna start moving forward. Dream gets spotted out by Gabby. Gabby is a fairly tanky target. He won't be too afraid. Still, they move in.
Illusion.
TNC will return to the triangle and just smoke up. Where are we at though? Looks like we have a loop around. Through the dire side jungle. Yeah, there's the line. All the way around. Like, I don't even know if they have enough smoke time to really make this happen. In fact, they will. They do go for a bit of a shortcut, but Miracle is right in the back, so he will break the smoke if you're not too careful. And they continue to loop around. That smoke duration's almost worn off now. Oh, Mel. Oh, he blinks onto the. It'll be all right. Nothing too bad. T1.
Radiant's middle
We'll
tower
spot them
is
out
under
now.
attack.
I guess this could be good for Armel being
Oh,
clipped. Now they get full up for Rev. Snowball save is going to be there, and the tombstone has been dropped. Now KP almost, but they do get Joe Cam at the very least. But KP has lost his own life. Armel now, who are you going after? Miracle is right on top of him with the smoke screen, dishing out a fair bit. Is it going to be enough? It will be. Armel dies. March just runs the complete other way. The rest of TNC understood that team was over. Once that blink forward from our sort of
Radiant's structures are not only fortified, they are positively
It
glowing.
was interesting. TNC looked like they wanted to bait T1. They were ready with a duel from. They just, that snowball was there. That was just kind of complicated. Still, they do hold on to their tier 3s. It doesn't look like T1 will be able to clear that out. The exorcism does expire. Repair kit is in play. That's going to be enough to stop T1 from taking any objective off the back of those kills.
T1. The back for that Radiant side outpost. Everyone's just keeping it calm, keeping it. T1 does have a 4K net worth advantage once again. They attempted the high ground push, but this Dana repair kit really difficult. Although Miracle does have the Ags up.
That's going to be big. At least, I think the added range, the added duration is going to make it a lot harder to kill him off. Of course, he can just jump into, I think, the best targets in your dream. Go into IYD, get all his damage off every single time. A lot more flexibility to get the job done here. That could be a factor. We have seen a lot of rookies really start to wreck face when Ags comes into play.
Well, Silence going to be there on Armel, trying to force that BKB usage out. He won't quite yet. Follow-up chains, it will all be perched off by KP on the LC. And if you're TNC right now, it feels like you're just waiting for that level 25 point for Armel, where you do get the fierceness from the talent. It does just completely change once you hit that level 25 mark.
It's completely broken once you have that. Like, you can just force fights away. T1 is going to have trouble fighting into that. Gives so much control towards TNC. And it's not like Scream is a very long cooldown. That fear is just obnoxious. We see that quad 25.
Death tax. Let's refuse gold given.
We've held out long enough that tier 4 items are flying out. Got the Minotaur horn. That is given. It's actually just sent back to base. Her apps.
No, they get the
hands.
Minotaur horn over.
Yeah.
Go can. Yeah.
He's got a lot more to give. Like, he can safely get that snowball save every single time. No issue. And you do buy enough time at the very least for Gabby to have a Satanic up, so he can man fight a bit better on this more hard press to really burst him down and spam fight. Can hold his own at the very least. So, got that up and running now for TNC.
Timeless Relic now will also come out on off. Always a very nice item to have. He may just take it for himself. In fact, he does have the pallet, but perhaps not. But two.
Dire's
No one
bottom
quite
tower
yet.
is under attack.
Who's smoking up TNC? Loop around through their own triangle, but they won't have the high ground advantage. In fact, never mind. They're going to go through the dire side jungle now. They really do like to take the long way around, but T1 always seems to be quite aware of when this is happening. They don't really risk too much at all. They just stick as a team and just wait.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. And not
Got the
in a
Roche
good
up
way.
and ready to go as well. Nice scan from T1 does figure out where TNC is. They're in their own
Radiant's
smoke.
top
They
tower
could
is
try
under
to go for
attack.
something.
Yeah, they definitely want to take this team fight, that's for sure. TNC, you don't want to walk low ground right now. This is the worst time to do it for him. Gonna show himself, gets the silence off on the Queen of Pain, but they really want that LC. And again, KB, gonna be Spirit Siphoned to death in the shadows. In Your Dream does pick it up on the Ember. Oh, can they find more? No, Snowball is gonna be there on Armel. He does have his big KB. He will not pop it yet. But they could force a Roshan at least back out of the LC here.
I think they're pretty much set to try to get that done. They didn't expand the Exorcism there as well. Ev still has that tool. They're going to go ahead and do it. Like, this is going to force a response from TNC. They should be aware, but they don't have a scan. They don't have wards down. They might not be able to get the contestion out.
Yeah, they're just going to allow the Roshan to go.
The Dire's bottom tower is under
It has the
attack.
Ags upgrade as well, so
Structures
this easily go to IYD or 4Ev just to give them a lot more with their, with their kits, and that's just going to be a massive power spike right there for either hero.
Oh, In Your Dream
There you
will
go.
take it.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Can't blame him for that though. He got that huge range on the remnants.
It would appear Radiant's top
I still
tower
think
is under attack.
TNC are just
Sorry,
kind of
I just
allowing that
noticed
Roshan to
Dire's
go as they're
bottom
still
tower
waiting
is
on
under
Armel
attack.
to get that 25 up.
Radiant's top tower is
I mean, it's a
under
slow
attack.
process. He's still at 23. Like, yeah, he's eventually going to hit there, but you are going to be bleeding a lot of space on the ground for that to get done.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
IYD's
Radiant's
just
top
going for it.
tower has fallen.
BKB TP. In Your Dream is just going to be able to remnant back to his team. Is this the time we see the attempt coming out? T1, they have been very, very cautious about how they play this. Of course, you have got that level 25 mark on Miracle now, so I mean, the cooldown on the Tricks of the Trade is only 5 seconds. Really be quite a slippery here with that. He's got the multi-shot adaptive strike on Gabby. He's hit level 26. Very big on the Morphling, just not quite big enough. Exorcism gonna be popped. Don't waste any more time. T1 trying to move forward. There is gonna be the LC. The snowball save, and KP just dies to the ghosts. Gabby now trying to fight. They've jumped onto Armel. In fact, it's not Armel, it's March in the back lines. The poor Coddle can't really do much but try away. Armel, meanwhile, getting bashed up in the back lines. He blinks out of there. They aren't on this DP. Forever's looking perfectly fine. In Your Dream has caught out Armel on the Queen, and who has no buyback. And Forever looks like he's gonna just walk out. But In Your Dream about to fall, but that's just a free reset as he had the Aegis. Paulson is still stealing a lot of strength with that decay, and now the jump back in. They want the LC KP. He can't afford to die like this, but Forever moves forward. Gabby at least does find Paulson, but you got the dieback now onto KP as Miracle. And a fight will not work out in his favor. Gabby pushing it back through this mid lane, trying his best to not to go down. More adaptive strike to fly up, but Joe Cam, he uses that Minotaur horn. Now for DP, he does also get blown up by Gabby, who basically holds them back by himself. And T1, they managed to get the T3 tower. That's all they managed to get, however.
You really the effects of just how big Gabby is on the Morph. deals so much damage. He can just stand there and fight worry-free, pops the Satanic on, is completely unkillable, has his butterfly up and running, saving up for the Divine Rapier next. Once that up and running, for the Morphling will just wreck face entirely. And it looks good. For a while, it looks like they're managing to find those kills. I think it was a bit disjointed at some point. Like, when they lose out on Miracle, it just kind of falls apart there. And before, really that impulse and really want him to stay alive to spam out that decay. And if he's not able to, then all targets do feel just a bit tankier than they should be.
Oh, Gabby gonna wait for him in very confidently. Tombstone drop, they'll go after March first. He does get the Will-O-Wisp down, but he in fact, no, he goes, forms up. March still gonna die. Does chase him down. Still, the Will-O-Wisp is ticking away, and surely they will be able to clear out the side of T1, and they do.
Oh man!
Just nobody aimed the Will-O-Wisp. They just stood in it.
This is going to be a massive issue for T1. At the very least, Miracle is up and running again, and 4Ev isn't too far off. So there shouldn't be any major push that can come out from TNC. But that was a lot of push to lose over a March dieback. So at the least, they got the dieback in the Coatl. They didn't really do anything with that time. We're going to have to take some chip damage on their objective.
Double silence from 4Ev. Oh, KB, he jumps. He wants revenge, and he is going to find it. The DP does drop, but they have buyback. They'll straight away. Even Joe Cam committing on the snowball. 4Ev is very far forward right now, trying to find a Morphling by himself. He pops his BKB, but Armel does not give up. Gabby's still trying to chase, but he's getting bashed by the Ricky. 4Ev, he'll die back straight away. Now the Ricky for Miracle. Can he actually get out of this? It looks like he can't. Tims. He had the shotgun. Gabby was the one who had the final output attack. There will be buybacks. Oh my, in your tree.
Damn.
Spirit Vessel and 5 Remnants will do that. Tim's fall. And both teams just making a couple of errors that are costing some very, very valuable lives.
Oh, I mean, at the least, you do have buyback available onto Gabby. A little bit of slip up like that, and suddenly your push does get cancelled off. Like, look at that tier tree, 50. Right? Just a little bit more of awareness there would have given them at least the tier, some trip damage onto the racks. And instead, you get T1 that does look to force out that mid lane. It's their turn to try to get something out. They should be aware that the buyback is going to be up and ready on B. So if things do get a bit rough, TNC can always just buy back, and suddenly push not to go as well as you'd expect.
Remnants forward.
Radiant's middle
Hoping to find someone
under attack.
trying to protect that mid.
Pay very close attention now.
It's from a distance.
Radiant's love middle barracks are
I'm getting close to the blinding light, as you know. Just
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
do find the first set. Down to the bot lane. You do
I've never
have buybacks available on TNC, but they really don't want to have to commit them right now.
Attack. Pay very close
You lose
attention
one melee
now.
barracks, but yeah, I mean, you're 50 minutes into the game. Like, one melee barracks really does not matter.
It's keeping the lane shoved out naturally, but not the biggest objective in the world now. I'd say if they did get the full rack, it would be a bit better, but one lane. Key thing now as well is that as is substantial anymore. That is still a good amount of items. They are being kept at a pretty reasonable pace by Gab. We have seen Miracle kind of behind now, so he's not too far off. But you know, he's maintaining a slight lead over Armel, who does have 25. So you have that 25 talent in the Queen of Pain to work about now, and that's just going to make a lot of these fights a lot harder for T1.
I do get some concern for Armel as Miracle does Missile Blade, so you do have the guaranteed lockdown. That's the part that scares me a little bit for this Queen of Pain. We'll see T1 up. Scan is going to actually catch Armel, so they know he's in there somewhere, but for him, going to run forward. Smoke will be broken, but he gets the silence off. Can they lock him down? Armel actually commits the flicker. Green won't hold him down long. enough. Always scary committing that flicker. You just never know where it's going to take you. I guess he always has the blink follow-up anyway, but...
Hope for the best with that one.
yeah.
Still, does go out just fine. This is gonna make T1 just play around that jungle area once more, waiting for a straggler to walk up. I don't think you can really expect TNC to bite that bait. They're aware of where T1 wants to stay in that high ground. So there is a smoke now from TNC.
Try and capitalize off understanding the location of T. Around. You know, TNC is running in these circles before they really get there. Just run around that cliff first. They spot it. He does break the smoke though. It looks like Brem has been caught. Gabby, he pops his BKB. Snap fires, this is just flying, but it's raining fire right now. And Snowball will save the undying, at least for now, from KB. Still, Paulson gonna survive as they do drop 1 and 2. In fact, me and Tims both go down. A nice little miss, but it will not be enough to really save his teammates. And well, they might even find KB off. They'll see back, he is gone. No buyback available. Now Armel is the main priority target, though he BKB's up for Rev. Still moving forward, wanting to go up to Tim. Now Gabby buys back as well on the Morphling. They'll go after Miracle on that Ricky, but the Snowball save again coming out of Joe Cam, just not letting them do anything to his cause. Joe Cam may go down, but it's well worth it for the cause as Gabby jumps in, and whoa, that's a lot of damage coming in now. The Remnant forward from In Your Dream. It's not up the Satanic from the Morphling. Will save his life with the kickback. Tim's with the dieback as well as Armel also dying back. March almost going down. He does. It's all up to Gabby and KP. They'll duel. They'll get Forev. And it's going to be a huge trade between the two. T1 ends up with no backs available either. TNC, a full team wipe happening. They did have 4 buybacks at the time. TNC now, they need to make a push.
It's gonna be challenging at that time. I mean, I can clear out waves quite nicely. It's going to be hard for him to completely hold off this entire push by himself. But I think there is the pressure on TNT. They can't afford to risk too much as well. They're going to try to go for the Roche. They should be able to take it out. That is spotted out by Paulson's Wardell, by his courier. So they are aware of that. That is going to do a refresh Ags along with the Aegis and Cheese. There's a lot more going to way of TNC there, though.
Oh, he's going after In Your Dream. This will be a dieback on the Keeper of Blind. Roshan is still happening, but he has time to Remnant in if he really wants. He's not throwing a Remnant, he only has one. He just doesn't want to risk it.
I don't mean to be alarmist, but Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Maybe he does take the axe for himself. Refresher Shan will be sitting on KG at least for now. Of course, Gabby also has the Aegis and is still going after that Divine Rapier. Not finding any objectives apart from that Roshan to be. But I guess the stage of the game is just
in a blow to the
it doesn't
Dire,
really
their bottom
it doesn't really matter if you find one raft anyway. It means nothing. All about having that secondary life.
For sure. And we're starting to approach the point we would start to think about tier 5 items. They should pop in a few moments, so we're going to start to see that, and that could change the pace here for a couple of heroes, of course. Still, you know, it's not quite there yet, but once you start seeing those pop out, you could see a massive spike for either. It depends on what they pick up. See that come into play.
Will be. Only about 4.5 minutes till those are available. You know, those tier 5 items are completely ridiculous. Like that was basically Icefrog saying, look, if you reach an hour mark to the game, I want it to end. You know, I don't want it to go any further. And they were, well, I hope we get to the point anyway, because once you've reached 55, 56 minutes, you just want to go all the way. See how lucky either get.
I mean, Gabby has his Divine, so there you go. Like, if it swings away, that could be it. If they win a couple of fights, then T1's left at their base. It's an either or now.
Okay, he's into the shotgun. So no Ethereal Blade now, just Divine. Fair enough. Do you just wait out the next 3.5 minutes? Like, do you bother trying to push in?
I think you should try to maximize this Aegis as much as possible. So I think you should look to TNC to play aggressive. They do smoke up. They won't find something while they have the advantage.
We're probably so dunk as well. It's been up and down the whole game, but mostly just within set mark for Rev. Gonna get spotted here. Gabby jumping forward. There's the exorcism and the smoke screen. Gabby, he needs help. He's falling very, very low right now. Gabby may lose the Aegis in just a moment if he's not careful. Still, he does manage to get away just barely. He's been rooted up. He is still surviving somehow for Rev. Around with him. They need to have that secondary loss of TNC, however, do not jump. Position will survive.
Haste.
Risk of and if Abby lost this Aegis and then fell, give it away.
Bunting for you.
In their way to take the objectives, they're gonna have to hold on to that. At the very least, they bait out the so he's not gonna have that available anytime soon.
Dire's middle tower
This T through tie. Took about 15 minutes. Now mid. And now the smoke screen will make him miss quite a bit as Farev does late mail, which can be very scary for this Morphling as he tries to fight back onto In Your Dream. Gets the range racks, but I've got to tell you, the damage output didn't look very scary from Gabby.
No, it was kind of underwhelming, especially when he was just right-clicking down on Forev with his Satanic on. It just looked like nothing was really happening there. Just a lot of HP cleaned away.
Paulson,
This DP.
be a little bit careful. Gabby does hit him pretty hard, although he can just decay. He'll flicker, but a huge Will-O-Wisp coming out once again from March, just holding all of T1 in. A kick across the map, they're kicking the Morphling away. Now the LC Jewel is onto the Undying Sonic Wave just to make sure he gets it. In Your Dream, back in, but again it's into the Will-O-Wisp. Now the Ricky does commit tricks to the trade on the Ember. They want to chase T1, they are not done. Paulson brought back Gabby. He's been left behind right now. He needs help. They still do have that Will-O-Wisp, but he's getting kicked back towards the dice space. He will find Joe Cam but he'll buy back. Paulson, he doesn't want to die back like this, but he does. So it's a 4-5. T1 gonna move away back to their base. ENC, you know, they don't really have much buybacks on their end either, so they're slightly careful about how they approach this high ground push.
Yeah, gotta be really
there's
cautious
the
and
Aegis.
ensure. I mean, it's 4v5, you lose the Aegis by expiry. It's a really risky moment now. Like, even without the Undying, we're just so vulnerable with one bad play here.
If you're just tuning in, Dire's
Rats.
middle barracks has
Who's going to be there from the chains of In Your Dream, though? Gabby will just heal up with lifesteal that he has with the Parton's Sword Satanic. He's just got a permanent Satanic on with those two. Chains up on Gabby. He wants to find In Your Dream, who's copying a fair bit of damage, but the smoke screen does drop.
Radiant's bottom tower is
They're going
being
to go
subjected
to
to
the top tier 3. They feel confident enough to try and force this team fight, TNC. KP gets a jewel off. He has found the task. This will be a very, very nice kill, because Joe Camp doesn't have buyback available. So for Rev, he'll pop the Exorcism, tricks the trade to Rev, but he is falling from fast. He needs to run right now. Gabby just walking forward. Can they find the DP? They can. He does have buyback and commits it immediately, but now Gabby really putting the pressure on by going after those tier 4s. Abyssal, but it connects on both. Gabby now realizing he may need to back out, or maybe he just goes back in. Still, he gets rooted up. Spirit Siphon is there from Rev, but Gabby will return the favor. They just can't kill him. If you can't kill the Morphling, you can just take your tier 4s and your ancient pretty darn quick. He'll just keep turning around with that Spirit Siphon and healing himself up. The tier 4 now gone to the ancient. Exposing tier 1. How do you defend this? The ancient falling so darn quick. They don't have time. The Will-O-Wisp is them back. And that's it.
Oh man.
TNC.
Oh. Just turning it around with the patience to wait out for that Divine, and Gabby just making it work. It looked a bit